like a specific character, but I don't really think it matters. I guess you could do all of
So
Suggs.
I guess I could just take AOS. I don't really care. It's kind of a troll verse, but
Sure,
okay.
that's fine.
Is that the Joker?
No,
Joker
it's
guy?
Ace of Spades. It's no, it's like Suggs versus like it's like
Yeah, Ace of Spades. My bad. Yeah, that's who I
yeah,
meant. All
yeah.
right. Yeah,
It's
you'll
like
win this.
I mean, it's whatever. If I like if it's not very fair, I'll just take like Meliodas versus anyone after as a joke, but or like
Sure.
Luffy. But
Ricardo, Punk Rider, what is PDF?
Punk Rider Defense Force.
Oh,
Punk
word,
Rider
okay.
Defense Force.
Slimy PDF, slimy PDF.
Okay.
I remember
You're
that
good at
shit,
debate for
bro.
me.
Alright, that's reasonable. Why is Rosella on there now?
Oh, I just never
All right.
called on it.
Okay, you want me to start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Punk, you got the judge? You're judging?
Fuck no,
You good with
baby.
that?
Sure, I can, but only way I'm judging is via the recording, so it might take like multiple
I
days.
can't fucking record, so why
I'm
don't you just give
I'll
an
judge.
immediate why don't you just give an immediate verdict? I don't
I'll
I'm
judge.
recording.
Well,
Because I
Punk
think it
Rider
would be
will be
dishonest.
judging, and he will have a recording.
I will judge.
yeah, Tricks, you can record, I don't really care.
Said it 4 times I'm recording.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
Hoodie, you got left
Nah,
and
Tricks
right.
was I was just reminding his ex, but it's fine.
All right, present your argument, Swifty.
Huh?
Present your argument.
Yeah, hold on, I'm just grabbing scans real quick.
Okay.
Where is this shit, bro, I have too much shit in here. I haven't used Ace Spits in a minute, I'm not gonna cap. Hold up. Okay. Already on me, I guess I scans free charts. Okay, yeah. So I think it's just blatantly implicated here, right? Without four different paragraphs that my character's just omnipotent.
Okay, hold on. Let me quickly read these.
Sure. Hoodie, it's not my fault, bro. I proposed 3 different characters. I proposed 3 different characters and he said Suggs, so I mean, I don't.
Oh no, the argument just sucks. I don't think the character's strong.
The argument sucks. I mean, hey, we'll see.
Hold on.
We'll see.
Oh my gosh, bro. He transcends, encompasses all of fiction? Oof.
You could like basically just read the first like 2 sentences off of every paragraph.
Okay, so it's just
It's just blatant omnipotence, dude.
okay. So, and just my direct first issue with this is: do you understand what copyright is?
Sure, I'm aware of what copyright is. What does this have to do with this?
Yeah, and you would understand that copyright law protects individual properties from being used by non-owners of esque property, correct? For instance, I can't use Disney characters because I would be violating copyright. You understand that, correct?
Okay, so continue to how this holds relevance.
Yeah, so that it would just very easily connect. You're the author of Ace or whatever it's called. Wouldn't hold copyright law over anyone in any other fiction, unless you could justify this to be the case. Therefore, these characters would be excluded from the omnipotent statement. Therefore, this would just put him at best above the rest of his verse, which you would have to scale the verse.
Okay, like a few issues with what you said, right? I think the copyright shit was completely unnecessary. I think you could have just said that if my character doesn't have certain knowledge or like what's it called, authority over other characters in different verses, that my character wouldn't be omnipotent across different verses. Is this what you're trying to get at? I don't think the copyright shit was necessary at all.
Well, the copyright law is what forbids him from being able to have knowledge or even be able to scale other characters. We would just have to assume
Okay.
any like fictional representation of those characters just literally scales nowhere. They would have to give the character also scaling.
Yeah, so this is the issue. I'm not necessarily stating that my character has metaphysical representations or any like form of representation of characters within the verse. I can just basically prove, right, that my character is just all knowing and has the ability to know everything across all different forms of realities and verses. My character is just also omniscient.
Okay. That doesn't get past the copyright law
Why does it
claim I
not get
made.
past the copyright law or
Yeah,
copyright
so
law?
even if he has omniscience and would be able to perceive all realities, it would only be the realities within his verse, right? So wouldn't do anything.
So hold on. Right. If wait, hold on. So if like but I'm just using this to scale the boundless, so I don't really care about your verse at all. But if I was able
Oh,
to
sure.
use omnipotence to scale my character, right, as to even being all powerful within my verse, and if such things such as all of set theory existed in my verse, I think my character would just be boundless. I wasn't even really trying to argue anything other than that. But
Sure.
I mean,
So,
okay. So if I can
I
prove that
guess
all of
like an issue is omnipotence can't
yep.
occur since unless it's inherently like the law of identity.
Huh?
Yeah, so we agree that this
What?
character has been gifted an identity, correct, Swifty?
My character has okay. So what are we getting at?
Yeah, so since we have since we are using language and we've gifted it an identity, it would inherently have to be below all of the laws of logic. And so therefore we cannot say it is omnipotent because there are things stronger than it, SRW. I mean Swifty, sorry.
How did I get dragged into this?
Okay.
Yeah. So
So I don't. So I'm just trying to like I'm gifted is crazy by the way, but okay. So assuming that my character has an identity, are you just? I don't know if you're trying to get at that my character. I'm not. I was never arguing that my character was illogical. I still think omnipotence can be a thing if your character is not illogical, or still can
so
abide by logical foundations.
when we say omnipotent, we literally mean all powerful, correct?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So if there is at any point where this character is incapable of doing something, such as existing without an identity, then this character is not all powerful. There's a limitation set. So that word would
There's
just
a
be directly
limitation set.
contradiction. Yes, it cannot exist without an identity.
Yeah, okay, so you're a troll. Halting, right? So basically, if you're able to be omnipotent, right? What I was originally gonna argue with this was if there was two parts to the argument. Argument one was that my character was all powerful across all of Sugsverse. Argument two is that within Sugsverse includes all infinite sets and all forms of set theory. Therefore, my character would just be transcendent upon all of set theory. I'm not necessarily trying to argue halting that my character is what's it called? You first just completely misconceived my argument and tried saying that my character was
Misconceived.
omnipotent. Yeah, or my character was omnipotent across all realities. Wasn't what I was arguing. Next is you're trying to say that since my character is bound by the law of identity, right? Then my character can't what's it called do anything in certain scenarios, right? I'm still saying that my character can still be all powerful across Sugsverse, right? And if you want to go there, I could rap, but it's fine. But yeah, I still think my character can be all powerful across Sugsverse. It's not like really an issue here.
Okay. So it one there's just directly multiple contradictions if you just say you are interpreting this statement as he's only all powerful over like these like basic
Isn't
things
that
within the
what you
verse
literally said at the
because
very beginning, Halting?
hold on let me so one I'm saying that the statement of omnipotence just can't work period right because it says it's above all of fiction right and it says it's above all like metafiction right which the law of identity would be included within its fiction therefore it has to be above it otherwise this omnipotent statement just wouldn't work and I've already expressed the contradiction of him being above having an identity and you yourself have agreed with that, Swifty.
Wait, where?
You just blatantly misunderstand this scan and you agree that if we
Wait,
do
hold on.
take the scan hyper literally, it's just a
Hold on.
contradiction.
Halting where? Wait, when did I agree to anything you said?
Oh yeah, Swifty, you just directly said I am not arguing, right? Which is you affirming to me and the
I
audience
don't recall me
that you
saying
do
that.
not think that this is the
I'm not gonna
case.
lie to you.
And if you want to argue, Swifty, that
Wait,
it's fine
Halting,
for your
Halting.
character
We
to
can
hold the
check
lab
recording. I don't
we
think
can
that
go
was
for that.
ever said, bro. I don't think that was ever said.
Even if we steal man
I don't know if
you
you
would
have
still
freedom
have
of
to
memory. Like
address the law of identity argument I presented. If you go down that route.
Hold on, halting. You said claimed to say I don't even know what fucking yapping or whatever the fuck you
Halting, I
claimed that shit,
fucking
but I
hate
did not
you.
say that shit at all. We can check recording.
Christy, I've literally already said that. Even if we presuppose you did not say that, I'll still man that.
Okay,
You
okay.
literally you would have to go against the law of identity argument I presented. So either way, you're just directly like, this game is not acceptable. We are not able to take anything as creditable.
So is that all you're arguing real quick? Hold on,
Yeah.
I'm trying to look for something while I'm listening to you. What's it called? Do something. Hold up. Uh, Okay, so hold up. Yeah, so I'll just back it up with the scan. That's like more easy for you to understand halting without even the omnipotent statement, right? So basically, it even states here, because this is what I was originally trying to get at, so I'll just get it to you in an easier way, right? Because whatever. Basically, it says Ace of Spades can move beyond all stories and hierarchies within Heir to the Stars, and even beyond that. Heir to the Stars is basically Sug's verse, right? It's what the book's called. I can show that to you if you want. Basically, this gets back to the whole point of what I was trying to argue. Basically, what the author was trying to express within omnipotent halting was not necessarily within the like it wasn't necessarily we're just going off of SPW definition, right? What I'm gonna interpret or what the author was trying to interpret in that what's it called? In those four paragraphs was that he was deemed as all powerful across the verse, and then this was backed up in the next scan that I sent is that basically, right, he's just transcendental over the Heir to the Stars cosmology, right? So what I am trying to get at here is he's just transcendental across cosmology, right? When he meant omnipotent, I'm not trying. You completely took it wrong, right? The interpretation that I was using across omnipotent was that he was just omnipotent or viewed as omnipotent within his verse and just transcendental across the Sugverse cosmology, or here it's just Heir to the Stars, because that's literally what Sugverse is called.
Okay,
So
so then are you
it's
dropping
truncated.
the first? Are you dropping the
No,
first?
so what I was saying, right, halting, is that you basically just went off superpower wiki. I'm gonna guess you went off superpower wiki's definition, right? I'm saying that within I'm basically gonna argue why my definition would be like more befitting of the situation, right? Basically, I'm saying that what the author meant by omnipotent in this situation was that he was just deemed as all powerful or transcendental across the Sugverse cosmology, right? And then this is further backed up and just shown to be more probable, right, in the bottom scan because it literally says the Sug's Ace of Spades is transcendental across the Sugverse cosmology, right? So obviously we can just logically assume, right, that the author meant that he was just transcendental across the cosmology. So therefore, I think my definition would just be more fitting of the situation. To be fair.
Sir, but at no point was I following this like versus battle or superpower wiki definition.
Okay,
I was
but
just
you went off
following
of a
the
definition.
most
So
the
what
most
definition were
like
you following?
common definition, which we most
Okay, so
probabilistically
you were
are to
going off
assume that
of
the author is using.
Oxford. So you were going off of Oxford, right? Yeah, I'm gonna
Yes,
tell
and
you.
the
Okay,
Oxford
so
definition just directly says able to do anything,
yeah,
and
so halting. I'm gonna
having an
explain to
identity,
you.
not being able to change that does mean you can't do something.
Yeah, halting. I'm just right. I'm just gonna explain to you why my interpretation would just be more valid in this situation, right? So you went and took the most common definition for omnipotent and basically said, "Oh yeah, this is obviously what the author meant." And I'm just blatantly telling you, right, that in the first scan, we basically see it say omnipotent, and then you're basically just trying to just tunnel vision this one definition and say, oh, my definition is automatically right in this situation. No, I think it's just more logically befitting to assume that my definition makes far more sense and is backed up by the second scan, as the second scan just blatantly implicates, right, that he's transcendental across subverse cosmology. So basically, right, what we can assume is the author, right, as stated multiple times, right, is he is omnipotent across his own verse. This is how he's viewed, right? Like just how, fuck, I'll give you an example. Gods are viewed as transcendental or omnipotent within their own verse, right? This is literally what you said at the very start when when you were trying to argue, what's it called, that my character wouldn't have knowledge or authority in the whole copyright thing. You're like, oh yeah, your character would just be omnipotent or transcendental across his own verse. We can even check recording, right? This is just what I'm trying to get at this whole time. Therefore, right, I'm telling you that just with the probability that my argument, right, I'm just basically telling you that my definition would just be more befitting in the situation. It's just, yeah, it's just
Okay.
further backed up. So there's no need to go down this route, Halting. I don't.
So there's just directly two issues with your entire
Yeah,
thing there, Swiftyy. So the first one is you're just proposing that because this author wants to demonstrate his characters above everything, your
That-
definition would suddenly make
Halting. Oh my
more
god,
sense. Well,
dude,
but the
Halting.
direct definition I posted, Swiftyy, would just also work in that context, and it would just be the case that the author just had a terrible, just was not able to represent to us what his intent was, and he just failed as an author. That's also completely possible, and we can even say that's more likely since one, mine's being backed by Oxford, and whenever we just check Google, Oxford is the first definition that pops up. Anyone in the audience can also just see that this is the first definition that pops up, and it looks like the author is an English speaker, so we can say that yes, he probably referred to Oxford. And second of all, there's this scan directly saying that he's like completely beyond all stories.
Halting.
I just
Halting.
wouldn't scale anywhere yet, and you'd still have to provide the
Halting.
justification that
Halting.
would
I
make
think you're
nice.
going on a bit of a rant, right? Okay, so let me after this we can conclude because I don't think you attacked anything I said, right? The whole all stories, I wasn't using that line of scaling at all, right? And I wasn't trying to argue that whatsoever, but I mean, you could keep yapping about that, right? And basically, I've already addressed this multiple times. There's multiple definitions for different words, right? That's just true, right? It's not always that the most common definition is always going to be the correct one. So let me give you an example of what equal interpretation is and how definitions would work in certain situations. So if there's let's say there's three definitions for a word, and they're using this word in a certain context, right? If you are imposing one definition and then I equally am interpreting to a different definition, us two would have to argue as to why said definition would be superior in this context, correct? So basically, what I am explaining to you is that the author, you don't always just appeal to the first definition that pops up. That's just not, but not always the case, Halting. I'm basically explaining to you as to why this my argument and definition would be far more probable and just superior in this case, right? Because if we see the second scan, it clearly imposes that the author is trying to portray the ace of spades above the cosmology, right? It clearly just states that. So if the author in the second scan is trying to portray the ace of spades above the cosmology, right? It blatantly says he's just transcendental to the air of the stars, which you never attacked, but it's fine, right? If that blatantly is stated, the whole omnipotent thing and the definition that I'm trying to oppose, that the ace of spades is omnipotent and viewed as omnipotent, meaning all powerful within his verse and transcendental within his verse, I think my argument would just be inductively true in form. It's just blatant, right? Because we already see the author's intent in the second scan. Therefore, if we know the author's intent, I just think my definition will be backed up. We can conclude now. Because I think we're just going circular at this point and there's no need. Because I basically just like explained to you in a little more terms as to the argument, and you basically repeated your same argument, so I just think we can just conclude real quick.
Sure.
Okay. You can go first with your conclusions. Punk, okay, hold on. Before you conclude, Punk, we're gonna need immediate judgment on this real quick after.
I'm good. Yeah, I can. Do
Okay,
it.
Halting, go.
Okay. So I've stated this multiple times. At no point are our interpretations of what the author is trying to say really different. We're both asserting that he's just trying to put the character at the top of the pedestal. I've claimed and stated multiple times that's just not important what his intent is, right? And both of our definitions would suit this intent, but he can obviously fail, which is what I'm trying to propose that he is failing. I also brought up that if he is all powerful, then things like the law of identity shouldn't apply to him, and he should be able to take away his identity. You just disagreed with him being able to do that in the very beginning. Everyone in the audience and even our judge will recall that. And this entire time, you've just been presenting, literally, as you even call this out on, just a circular argument that says because your intent matches what his intent is, this must be valid. But as I already said, I already contradicted that by saying his intent doesn't matter. He never refuted that. And that my definition would also match his intent, but he can also fail. And that mine would even contextually make sense since Oxford is backing this up. All right, go on.
Okay, can I conclude? Okay. So I don't think halting has just changed at all, but like let me quickly explain as to why half of halting's conclusion is just retarded, right? Basically, the law of identity point, I already explained to him that I wasn't trying to argue that my character was omnipotent across all realities or viewed as all powerful within the S or superpower wiki terms, right? What I explained to halting was that he basically tried to dismiss the intent of the author, which is just absolutely like retarded in my opinion, right? Basically, I told him, and he never attacked this. I told him exactly what the author's intent was behind the word, right? Basically, the Ace of Spades is viewed as a god within Suggsverse or heir to the stars, which is Suggsverse, right? I explained that. Basically, since he's viewed as a god, he's viewed as like transcendental and omnipotent across the verse. Then I backed this up within the second scan, basically just blatantly stating that he was transcendental to the heir of the stars, which again, that also went completely unattacked the whole time. He kind of just tunnel visioned the one argument, but that's okay, right? So therefore, if I can provide structure and just logical coherency to my argument, we can just like probably like it would just be inductively true that the author's intent was to portray the Ace of Spades as transcendental and omnipotent across heir to the stars. If this is the case, we can just assume that the Ace of Spades is just transcendental across the cosmology. Halting never really like fully grasped that or understand that, and he still just tried to argue the law of identity point, which was just completely irrelevant. So yeah, I think I won this point like pretty easily. Punk, you can give your judgment.
So immediate judgment, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the point, yeah.
Yeah, I think Swiftyy won for sure.
Okay, cool. So my character is just viewed as omnipotent within the verse and transcendental across all of Suggsverse cosmology. I'll continue with my scaling.
Sure. Okay, go on.
Okay. Where is my other thing? Where is okay? So right now that we've established that my character is completely transcendental across the cosmology, right here it says the Ace of Spades, Deuce is the pure act to utilize all of the aforementioned. Basically, he's able to utilize and be obviously now that we know he's above the Suggsverse cosmology and all these things are to exist within this cosmology, like he is just above all of these things. Here it goes down to list Barclay Cardinal, right? It basically just lists all of set theory and all of the cardinals within set theory. Therefore, I think my character is just above set theory. Any issues with this?
What is set theory?
Halting, are you being real right now, bro?
Yes, I'm not.
Are you being real? Tell me right now with a straight face. For like,
Yeah,
do you want the Oxford
50.
definition? Or do you want my interpretation of set theory?
I want the interpretation that you're going to present.
It's basically the branch of mathematics that deal with formal properties or sets. That's basically how I would interpret set theory for you, Halting.
Okay, and like, what is like included? Why would like him being above this be of any value?
Yeah, because it would just be blatantly high outer. Because
Yes,
as you can
why?
assume, what do you mean why? Because he's above all. Basically, right. inaccessible cardinals and such are just above. Like basically, I don't know if you are aware of versus Battle Wiki's definition or versus Battle Wiki definition of high outer. I don't know how you scale or what line of scaling you go off of, but basically, when versus Battle Wiki was able to like introduce that theory to lines of scaling, they were able to deduce that things such as inaccessible cardinals, wooden cardinals, and such things were just above forms of dimensionality because these inaccessible cardinals were unreachable by transcending such dimensions. So, for example, right, I'm not sure if you know what a countable infinite is, but if you're able to transcend a countable number of infinite dimensions, which a countable infinite would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and going on and going on and going on to infinity. That's what's like transcending dimensionality. Now, transcending such things such as sets, such as Aleph 1, Aleph 2, Aleph 3, then we go up to like inaccessible cardinals, you cannot reach them by starting at 1. These are what we call transfinite numbers. Now, I'm not sure why I have to give you a whole set theory lesson here, Halting, but basically, if you cannot reach such things by transcending one or more dimensions all the way up to infinite, we have to assume the way to reach these things logically, right? This is how it works, is to transcend transfinite number of dimensions, and then we go up. Transfinite number of dimensions or transfinite infinites are just basically shown in basic mathematics to be above finite numbers. Transfinite numbers are larger than finite numbers. So transfinite numbers, as we know, are bigger than finite numbers. A transfinite number of dimensions would be above a finite number of dimensions, right? An inaccessible cardinal is basically the peak of set theory, the peak of infinity, right? The peak number of dimensions, as we would call it if we're arguing for dimensionality. So basically, this is just why this scales to high outer. It's blatant, right? I don't know what you appeal to for your scaling, whether that's CSAP, whether that's VSPW, but that's just how it's just basic set theory halting.
So he's just like the cap
He is
of
just
dimension
blatantly high
plus
outer.
one.
Huh?
So he's just the cap of like. So what you're saying is you're literally saying there's this inaccessible cardinal number of dimensions, right? And he's just plus one.
No. Halting. Bro, okay. Why they have put set theory above VSPW? I mean above dimensionality, right? Why set theory is basically in the higher ranks such as outer, high outer, low outer, and boundless is because you cannot physically reach inaccessible cardinals or Aleph number of dimensions by transcending dimensions such as just a regular dimension. So by transcending the fourth dimension, and if you keep going up, no matter if you transcend an infinite number of dimensions, you can't reach set theory. Set theory is above that because it is a transfinite number. You can reach transcending the fourth dimension by transcending the first, second, and third. You cannot reach set theory by transcending the first, second, and third. It is a transfinite number of dimensions. A transfinite number of dimensions, as I've already explained to you and went unattacked, is bigger than a finite number of dimensions. If this is the case, my character transcending the highest form of infinity and transcending all of set theory, which, as we've deduced, set theory is the study of mathematics, halting, he would blatantly, by definition, be high outer to boundless. It is not that difficult to follow. I don't
Swifty,
know. I don't
can I
know if
add
you have.
one
Holy
to this
fuck!
number?
Can you add one? No, you cannot add one to a high
Why can I?
inaccessible cardinal
Why?
because it is unreachable that way. You cannot add another. It's not reachable. You cannot add one to an inaccessible
Infinity is
cardinal.
unreachable. Hold,
This isn't
on,
infinity.
Swifty.
Halting. This
So,
isn't infinity. This isn't
so
transfinite infinite and regular infinite are different. That's what I've been trying to explain to you this whole time. An
yeah. Wait.
inaccessible cardinal is not infinity. I don't know what part of this you're missing. It is not infinity. You reach.
Hold on. So
Oh.
all it sounds like you're
Yo, we can
describing
conclude, bro. We can
is you're
conclude.
describing
I'm
it
not finna
as
do
the
this with you,
gap,
Halting. I'm not
as the
finna do this
gap.
with you, Halting. We can conclude.
I haven't even presented an argument against this.
You
Why do you
said
want
the
to
same
conclude?
thing. Can we add +1 to this? What's
Yes,
that
because
theory?
I'm trying to
Can we add
understand. Are you
+1 to
unable
this?
to explain your topic, Swifty?
I have explained this to you 10 times,
No,
Halting.
you're
It's not
doing a
that
very
difficult.
bad job.
I
So
explained this to
let's
you
reach
2
a
times for 10
conclusion
minutes
on
straight.
this. So Swifty, right? All it sounds like you're explaining is you're explaining the
Oh my god.
difference between dimensions, right? Because I agree that the difference between the first dimension and the second dimension is
Oh my god.
beyond an accountable infinity. I literally think it's an
No, it's
inaccessible
not.
number.
No, it's not. Oh my
You
god. I
don't
never.
think the difference between the
Oh
first
my
and the
god.
second
Oh
dimension
my
is an
god.
inaccessible number?
Oh my god. Halting. Halting. How? Continue. I'll let you. I'm not gonna interrupt you. Keep going.
Well, I asked you a question. Do you think that the difference between the first and second dimension is is literally just an inaccessible
You're
number?
transcending into a next dimension. So halting. If you're transcending the first
Halting, I
dimension,
agree. Want to conclude?
yeah, halting.
No.
Halting. If
Okay.
you're transcending past the first dimension, you are transcending another dimension. So this is +1 dimensions we're transcending, right? You're starting from 1. So, right, to transcend just like a finite number of dimensions, if you transcend all finite number of dimensions, we would assume you transcend all infinite dimensions, right? But when you start up from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you go
You're
up to
not
infinite.
answering. Do you think the difference between the first and the second dimension is an inaccessible number? Do you think there's an inaccessible difference between the first
This
and
isn't
second dimension?
halting. This isn't relevant. Tell me why
It
this holds
directly is.
relevance.
It directly
Why?
is
Why?
because then that would indicate that the difference between the first and second dimension is an inaccessible cardinal. So then we can correlate off of that.
Nah. Oh,
50,
no.
infinite
Halting. You're
dimensions would
halting.
still be contained within all of physics,
Halting.
so your character wouldn't even be low outer.
Halting. That's not. No, I don't. That is not how that works, little bro. I don't. I don't know what you're on about or what you're
You
yapping about,
you
but
don't
you're
think
being.
if we justify that the difference
Okay, we
between
can
the
conclude.
first and the second dimension
We
is an
can conclude.
inaccessible,
Halting. We can
then that
conclude.
means your character's like
Halting. We can conclude, bro. Halting. We can conclude. Halting. We
okay,
can
sure,
conclude.
sure. Give your
Go
conclusion.
ahead. Go ahead,
I
Halting.
think.
No, I
Oh
think
my
you
god.
deserve to give this one first, bro. You did a great job with this. You know, I think you've demonstrated how well punk riders taught you over the years. You know, I think you deserve to go first with this one, bro.
Okay, sure. So, as the audience can hear, this entire time, Swifty was unable to explain what the fuck an inaccessible cardinal is. The moment I'm like, oh yeah, wait, it just sounds like something that's literally uncountable. It's unreachable by any means of like standard or beyond standard uh mathematical structures within right? And then I demonstrate that yes, the difference between the first and the second dimension is inaccessible. He doesn't refute that. And then I say, okay, yeah, if that's an inaccessible cardinal, then that just means like, okay, sure, he's either at lowest, just above the first dimension, or at best, he's just above like an inaccessible cardinal number of dimensions. So he's just an inaccessible cardinal of dimensions
What am I
plus one.
hearing?
He didn't disagree with that or provide any like explanation or elaboration to why this is not the case. He just whined and complained, saying, "Oh my God, Halting, how do you not know this? Like it's not his fault for not being able to fundamentally understand his topic." All right, go on, Swifty.
Okay, well that was funny. Anyways, right. I think I did 2 different explanations for over 10 minutes as to what an inaccessible cardinal was. And I don't think he followed, but I told him, right? Basically, he first asked me why transcending an inaccessible cardinal would scale anywhere. I explained to him as to why it is above the basic dimensional fundamentals of scaling, right? For example, this literally answered this question at the very start. A finite transcending an infinite number, or just transcending an infinity. When we see the number infinity or hear the word infinity, my bad, we assume finite unless seen otherwise. This is just basic set theory right here, right? So basically, if you start at 1, you go to 2. It's +1 dimensions, as Halting was saying Halting was saying +1 dimensions. I don't know where the fuck he got plus inaccessible cardinal dimensions, but that's not even logically possible. I think he was yapping, right? So basically, an inaccessible cardinal, is to what I explained to him, is if you start at 1 with a transfinite or just a finite number and you go all the way up, this is a finite level of infinity. Now, when you go above that, you get into transfinite numbers. I explained to him an inaccessible cardinal is the pinnacle of transfinite numbers and the pinnacle of transfinite levels of infinity. It is above all aleph layers, it is above all transfinite layers, it is above all finite layers. You cannot conceivably reach an inaccessible cardinal without transcending all forms of mathematics and all forms of infinity. I explained this to him. So no, I don't know what he was yapping about you plus wanting an inaccessible cardinal. I already actually answered that. I said no, that's not possible, because if you can't add 1, because that's a finite number. You cannot add finite to an inaccessible cardinal. I explained this to him. We're talking about transfinite numbers is. Now, I don't think Halting is quite aware of anything to do with dimensionality or set theory, clearly. But yeah, Halting, I'm in Punk Rider immediate judgment.
Yeah, so in my opinion, almost every single word which Swiftyy has said, like, yeah, did prove that his character is outer versal or high outer versal, which I think the next point, maybe you guys can argue if it's outer or outer or high outer. And everything Halting has said just did not defeat Swiftyy's side at all. I think at best, all Halting proved is that between each dimension, there's a difference of an inaccessible cardinal of anything. But Swiftyy has made it very clear that the Ace of Spades is not simply transcending a normal inaccessible cardinal of anything, rather that he is transcending an inaccessible cardinal's worth of dimensions. And all Halting has said is that, the difference between the first and the second dimension is just the inaccessible cardinal. So, yeah,
Well,
I think Swiftyy definitely
Hold
has
on,
it.
Punk Rider.
that's cool.
Did you not hear me verbatimly say that you can just go +1 to an
I
inaccessible card?
already explained as
He
to why
didn't
that's not
defeat that?
possible. I explained as to why that's literally logically not possible.
I mean,
I explained that in my conclusion.
If
Halting.
you think he defeated that, then sure, he's got it. But I
No.
want to know if you
No,
think
I
he
can.
did.
Hold on. Yeah, I was literally taking notes. Hold on.
Yeah, that was
think-
basically because, like I told you, Halting, it's basic, right? Because, like I said, when you
He
get to
says
an
this
inaccessible
consists
cardinal,
of transfinite
numbers,
fucking
transfinite
numbers, yeah.
numbers of infinity. Yes, you cannot add one to transfinite.
Oh
numbers
yeah,
of
hold on. It says it if you transcend to the next dimension, then it's 1 plus dimension. If you transcend all, oh my bad. Then Swiftyy got cut off. You couldn't finish that sentence. Okay.
Yeah, but basically, right? What I
definitely
basically
refuted it, though.
admitted. Yeah, I
Okay.
refuted it. Basically, you
Well, then
can't
sure,
add
we
plus one to transfinite.
we
Okay.
can move on.
Okay, so yeah,
then-
I established as to why this was high outer because it's just verbatim. Because basically, outer versal, right, is transcending aleph layers, right? It's transcending just past infinity. Once you get into transfinite numbers, you get into aleph layers. Once we've already established that my character, because I already established at the very beginning, right, that all forms of set theory exist within my verse. If we go on to this logic and all forms of mathematics, he'd be at the highest level of mathematics, which is high outer. We already established this. I established that.
So
My
wait.
point.
So then the definition of high outer you're going over is literally
I'm
just
going
your
under versus
character
battle. I'm going no,
is-
not character stats. I'm going under versus battle wiki, and
It's just
I justified as to why it makes sense.
hold on. So
Yeah, sure.
So the definition we're going under for your character being high outer is just verbatimly that your character would be like beyond
My character is above
math and
all
beyond
forms of mathematics.
and is like
Yeah, my
would-
character
so-
is above all forms
so
of
your
mathematics and all
character's-
forms of set theory.
sorry. So your character is just literally above physics, correct?
Just the
Since
study
all
of
the
mathematics. We
and
don't have to
math
go
is,
into
like,
physics. We don't have to go into. It's the study of mathematics. He's above all forms of set theory.
Okay, so then he's still contained within like forms of physics.
What? What do you mean within forms of physics? Why are we arguing physics now?
Okay,
Wait, what?
because I'm directly asking you, like, yes,
I'm-
Swiftyy. So your definition of high outer is just being above math, or is it being above physics?
Halting, bro. We're not, bro. I don't know where we're getting into science class here, but math and science are two different subjects. I explained to
Physics
you.
just correctly handles like dimensionality, Swiftyy. So are you saying your
Okay,
character's like
well, okay. So if
being
that's how,
above math?
hold on,
Since
hold on,
he's
whoa,
above
whoa,
all
whoa, whoa, whoa,
physics,
halting,
therefore that is what high outer is.
halting. That's not what I defined high outer as though. My definition of high outer was being above all forms of mathematics and all forms of set theory, and then I justified that. I justified as
Okay,
to why
what
transcending
does
an
being
inaccessible cardinal.
above all of math?
This was justified.
What does that
Halting.
mean in
I
a
justified
power
this in
sense?
the last point. You're going circular. This was justified in the last
No,
point.
I'm directly asking you to justify what that means in a power sense. Like, okay,
Halting.
so
Halting. I
for
explained to
instance,
you.
Swiftyy, if I say my character's above all
Oh
of
my
science, that doesn't mean anything until we justify it. So I'm saying justify
Exactly.
what being
Halting,
above
halting,
all of
halting.
math
You're
means.
you're completely right, Halting. But the issue with what you're doing right now is I explained to you literally last point. The whole point was the very first question you asked is to why transcending an inaccessible cardinal means anything. I responded to that verbatim in the last point. We've already been over this. I told you as to
Yes,
why transcending an
all
inaccessible.
you've given
Okay, yes, okay, we're good.
is
We're good.
above
We're good.
is he's
We're good.
above dimensions. So then
That's not what.
so then we're-
Okay, Punk Rider. I don't think Halting's following at all. I don't.
Well, then
This
fucking be intelligent, Swifty, and be
this
able
was
to explain
explained
your
to you
topic.
within the. This was done
Swifty
within the
did
last
say the
point.
word outer.
I
with the
explained
last
high
point.
outer. I explained high outer. I explained why transcending an inaccessible cardinal was high outer.
Yes,
We went over this. We went over this. We've
Swifty,
been over this.
I have no issue with the label of high outer being on your character. I'm trying to clarify what to
God.
being high outer entails. And all it
Are
sounds
you
like you are
special?
saying it
Are you
entails
special?
is you are saying it entails being above all of dimensionality itself. Is that correct?
Sure, he's above all forms of mathematics. He's above all forms. I'll go over
What
everything
is
then, just for you. Just
You're
for you.
just
No, no, no,
going
no, no.
circular,
No,
Swifty.
just for you.
All
Just
you
for
are
you. I'll explain to you as to what that. I'll
Swifty.
explain to
Okay,
you.
go.
Oh my God, halting. Are you gonna let me talk, or are you just gonna
I'm
pull a shin
saying go on,
445?
Swifty.
I think you're pulling a shin 445. Not gonna cap.
Bro, I don't care what you think I'm pulling. Go on.
Basically,
Explain.
right? My character. I'll explain. So don't say I'm repeating myself. He is able to transcend all inaccessible cardinals, all forms of math, all forms of set theory. Right? That was the definition I established was high outer. All smaller numbers, right? Or all small forms of dimensions, he's able to transcend infinite dimensions. We established this, correct? We did
Okay,
establish.
okay.
Wait, no, 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 wait,
Currently,
I'm not done.
we
I'm
have
not
him
done.
above
I'm
all
not
of
done.
them.
I'm not
Keep
done.
going.
I'm not done.
I,
Okay.
I'm just laying out where we have him. So keep going. Yeah, he's above all of dimensions right now.
Any other form of tiering that you can apply below any other, like anything lower than inaccessible cardinals worth of dimensions, my character would just transcend the logical framework of that. If you want to apply physics, go ahead, but that my definition of high outer was basically be he would transcend all of dimensionality. He would be below all logical frameworks of any
What?
dimensional being below him. So basically, any dimensional being that could be perceived below him, he would just be transcending of their logical frameworks or origin. That was what I
Okay,
just high outer.
wait. I completely agree then. Okay,
Okay,
okay. So
okay, that's cool. So
so-
that's cool. We're fine with this now. We're good.
but I just want to clarify. So,
Yeah,
and
we just want to
oh,
clarify.
I
Yep.
want to
Okay.
clarify with the judge real quick. So Pungrad, where he's just verbatimly saying that like yes, his character is above all of dimensionality, correct?
All of dimensionality, all of math, all of set theory,
So
anything
like
that is under those concepts.
so
Yes.
any dimension, your character's just auto above that, correct? And that's what being high outer is.
Any all levels of infinity, all levels of infinity, all levels of math, all levels of dimensionality. Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
Pungrad. So you, me, and Swifty all agree then that he is just above all
Yes.
dimensions.
Now let me
Okay.
clarify something. Transcending a
Okay.
finite number of dimensions is not the same as transcending an inaccessible cardinal level of
I
dimensions.
I agree. I agree. Sure.
Okay, that's
So
okay. So let me
okay.
let's continue with my scaling. Okay, we're good.
Okay. Can I just get the clarification from the judge as well?
We've clarified this already.
I want the judge's clarification, the
Okay,
the
go ahead.
authority.
So high outer is transcending all levels of infinity, dimensions, and there was I think a third thing. Which one was it?
Mathematics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you-
Okay.
Okay, sure. So do you have any other scaling you want to add?
Yeah. I'm still going.
Okay, go on.
Okay. Where did I put this? Origin. I sped. Uh,
Got it.
hold on.
Also, Swifty, I'm not gonna lie, you fucking insane rhetoric, bro. You are so convincing. I literally
Wild.
yeah. I literally thought I was gonna win the first point, and then I just heard you give your conclusion. I was like, bro, everyone's convinced. Hold on.
Okay, so are you aware of what origin manipulation is?
Oh, so now we're getting into like hacks now. Am I
Yeah,
correct
kind of.
on that?
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's kind of a win con if you don't contend this like properly.
Okay. Sure. Let's get
So you
into that.
okay? Okay.
Wait.
Mhm.
Real quick. What's the speed of your character?
If we're going by the definition that my character is high outer, I just think speed is inaccessible.
You
That's
think
just
speed is inaccessible? So
yeah,
sure. I'll agree.
inaccessible amounts of speed.
Sure. I'll agree. Wait. What is inaccessible speed?
Let me grab the definition for you. I don't really
Yeah,
argue speed like that because it's very uncommon to argue speed in high tiers. But okay,
yeah,
hold
I
on.
know. No worries. I don't even think I'm gonna probably refute this. I I just want to know so I don't like
Yeah, I
go
don't.
off of a wrong definition.
Uh, it's basically moving any finite or infinite distance. It's basically what it is. It's basically moving any finite or like infinite amount of distance.
Okay,
Basically.
so you're
So like
sorry.
basically, I'll explain it in like like basically I was
He's
going to
just
it's like
above any like any mathematically explainable measurement of distance, correct?
basically yes. We can go into
Okay,
that
sure.
assumption. Okay, cool.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So basically,
I think that's very close to what inaccessible speed is
okay.
for me.
Okay, cool. So, right now, my bad. The next scan I was arguing for origin manipulation was basically right. It says right here, the ace of spades can change absolutely everything, anything, either completely or partially, permanently or temporarily from existence, non-existence, metaphysics, logic, boundaries, inevitability, and more. The ace of spades can choose what it wants to change and what will change, right? So basically, I think my character can just make it so that your character never had an origin in the first place.
Okay, hold on. So can change absolutely everything. Okay, so he can literally just change anything below him, correct?
Yeah.
And okay. Um, sure,
So
that's
unless you're scaling your
fine.
character to boundless, then I mean, yeah.
Sure, I think the scan's fine.
Okay. So that's cool. Okay, I have like one more scan, and then I think I'm good here.
Okay.
Um,
Hold on. Let me grab my. I have to grab the worm god scans.
okay. All right. Yeah. So blatantly, I think my character just has limitation transcendence.
Limitation transcendence.
Yeah.
Okay. What does this mean? And its
Like
action.
anything that my character can perceive as a limitation towards him, he can transcend because it's viewed as a limitation or perceived as
So,
a limitation.
yeah. You think?
So
Hold
like I
on.
could give you an example, right? So like if there was an obstacle within my character's way, right? This would obviously be a restriction or limitation. Like if my character views this as a restriction or limitation towards him, his power, or like inevitability of winning, right? Then we could this would just assume logically this is just a limitation and he would transcend this, right? That's like an example of limitation transcendence.
What is the limit to this?
What do you mean? He's able to transcend all
Yeah. So,
limitations that
it,
are but like it okay, wait, hold on, keep going, my bad.
yeah.
Keep going.
So if the concept of the law of identity pulls up to him and goes, Ace of Spades, you have an identity that is now limiting you. Does he just go beyond the law of identity now?
Not necessarily. So basically, right. Also, the whole law of identity, my character can manipulate his whole origin. I hope you know that. But yeah. So
I don't think that's the same as manipulating your identity. We can
wait,
tackle
isn't
that if we take
wait,
a
hold
different.
on. Isn't identity a part of your origin? Is it not?
Uh,
It
I
is.
think your origin is a part of your identity, but I don't think it's vice versa.
Why would it not be vice versa?
Yeah. So, for instance, do you know what Plato's chair is?
No, no clue.
So Plato's chair is this chair that is just literally the embodiment of every chair that is possible and impossible simultaneously. It is the perfect and most imperfect version of a chair. It is what we call
Huh.
just a chair. That is the identity of a chair, right? So
What's the identity
obviously,
of a chair?
say that again.
What's the identity of a chair?
Um, the most perfect and imperfect version of a chair. Every
That's
chair
its
to ever exist
identity.
and every chair that won't exist. That is
But
what it is a chair.
continue. Okay, interesting.
So, these are all a part of the identity of the chair, right? No matter what, we will always call them chairs, and we always call it a chair. Secondly,
Huh?
This just means that your origin or your origination or your starting place would be like embedded within your identity. But if you stop existing, your identity doesn't disappear. You would still have one, just wouldn't be
How would you
born.
still
Or
have one if it does that identity is ceased to exist?
oh, because your identity would also include every perfect and imperfect version of yourself. Your origin or the start of your
So
creation wouldn't remove that.
so if you get conceptually erased and the origin of your character makes it so your character has no roots, nothing, how would your character still have an identity? Because
Be-
basically,
because you haven't removed all the imperfect and perfect versions of that thing. So there
what
would
would be
still
an
be
example
identity.
of an imperfect or perfect version of like, let's say your character gets conceptually erased from the narrative. That includes its origin, that includes its starting, that includes everything where it came from. Where is its imperfect and perfect place?
Sure.
Where
So
where where would that be reminiscing? Because I'm confused here. I'm like
for
very lost.
instance,
I think this
for,
is
for, for, for instance, Swifty. So let's say we're reading a story, okay?
yeah,
And then in this story, there's this character named Todd, okay?
yeah,
Todd gets erased from the story by another character, okay?
yeah. Okay,
We
Todd's erased.
we can still say Todd was erased from the story. We still had aspects of that. The identity of Todd is
No,
still there,
no,
even
that's
if
wrong.
he's
That's
removed
wrong.
from the
That's wrong.
story.
That's wrong.
We
No,
still know Todd. Like,
no. That's
okay.
this is different because that would be just character erasure. The character erasure and origin manipulation is different. So the reason why this isn't true is because if you let's say, okay, I'll give you the same analogy here. If Todd was spawned into the story and someone had origin manipulation, they made it so that they had no origin. They had no origin of beginning. They had no origin of end. They had no origin. They had nothing, right? So basically, as soon they wouldn't have ever came out of the womb. Therefore, no one would have any recollection of Todd ever existing because his origin would have been completely erased. He would have never, ever spawned into the verse that he was really supposed to spawn into because my character would have erased that origin. That is a part of his origin. Your startup, where you come from, where you end, where you are, this is all part of your origin. Now, I can get you the definition of origin, and this is just basically coinciding with what I'm telling you, right? Because basically, I know what you're saying. If I was to just come up to a character, like Battler is a good example, right? In his story, and just fucking snap my finger, Thanos snap that bitch out of the story, right? Characters can still have recollection of that
No,
character's name.
Wifty. I'm literally saying Todd. Like his name is nowhere in the story anymore. If we like retroactively look in the past
So
pages,
no character
his
has any recollection of him.
no character has any recollection. The only
So
things that have recollection of him is you and me,
why would me and
and any
you have recollection of him? You mean the readers of the story?
yes, us the readers.
So here's the issue with that,
I
right?
think the law of identity literally is like the same as us. It like fundamentally transcends us, and we transcend all of stories.
So halting, there's basically a little bit of an issue with that, right? Obviously, when me and your character are fighting within an equalized verse, right, as we are, we're not going. The readers of the story hold no relevance, right? Basically,
I
what I'm.
completely disagree with that, Swifty.
Wait, we're not reading our characters fighting. We're arguing as to why this
We
ability.
we are
Wait,
we are
wait,
directly
can I finish? Wait,
creating
can
a
I finish?
fiction. We are creating a fiction where these two characters from
Correct,
these two different
correct.
narratives are
Okay, can I
coming
finish
to
though?
meet and fighting. We're still applying all
Halting.
of our laws to them.
Halting. So basically, what you just said was he got his origin erased, but we have a recollection of him. The
Yes.
reason that I just okay, so now let me finish because I let you finish, and you interrupted me and I let it slide. Basically, right? What I'm gonna tell you is this still holds no effect. If my character is able to do something, like for example, I don't know why we're slow, but it's whatever, right? Wait, I'll give. Never mind. I don't know what the fuck the limitation transcends hold any relevance, but it's fine. Basically, right? The issue with this is your character's origin still was completely erased from the narrative and the equalized verse. Your character never had any origin in the real world. You can't apply real, like us in the real world's recollection to the recollection of the story because your character never had any form of existence or any origin within our world. right? Your character only existed within the reality that it was spawned into, right? So basically, if my character was to erase your character's origin, nothing, his origin would be erased from narrative. You literally agreed to this. Your character's origin would be erased from narrative. No one would have any recollection of him. His he wouldn't have came to be. Your character would have never been born. He would have never spawned. So the issue with this is your character is just being origin. If you literally agree to this, we hold no relevance to this because your character didn't have an origin within our reality, right? Your character did not have that origin. So basically, obviously, for example, if I'm watching a TV show where this character just got his origin manipulated and everyone forgot about him, obviously I'm gonna know about this because I, from the viewer's standpoint, I'm watching something that I view as a fiction. I view this reality as a fiction, not real, fake. It's below me, right? So the thing is, let's say Goku got fucking his origin manipulated. He never existed in this reality or timeline. He he had never Goku never had any origin in this reality. So obviously, if he never had any origin in this reality, and I'm witnessing him this happening in something that I view as a fiction in a lower reality, obviously I'm gonna have recollection of this because this is something that I view as a lower reality. So basically, I don't see how you don't think identity. That's this is what we are arguing. Yeah, I'm getting it now. I don't think I don't get the whole identity not being related to origin because the definition basically blatantly states it is, and like I said, the whole argument it doesn't make sense. So, like I said, I'm down to conclude on this too.
Mm. So
Yeah.
wait, hold on. I want to address something real quick. So
Yeah, sure.
Swifty,
Go ahead.
you know that the logic is just literally like an expression of language, correct?
Logic is an expression of language. Is that what you said?
Yes. For instance, P is just a statement. P is just a simplification of a statement into a formal form. For instance, if I say dogs are this dog is cute, that's a statement, and that would be P. And then if I say
So,
if dogs are cute, then I love puppies. That's just if P then Q, right? I've just simplified language, and that's what logic is. We agree upon that, correct?
so here's the thing, Halting. There's different branches of logic. I'm
I'm
sure you're
specifically
well aware of this.
referring to statement logic. I want to be clear on that.
Okay, so you're recurring to statement logic specifically,
Yes.
not
Yeah.
not okay,
Problem.
sure. Okay, sure.
Okay. So the law of identity is just something we use to literally identify language, right? It says P is P. P equals P. Or P by conditional P, right?
Here
So
comes the prop logic.
if we say pod, pod by conditional pod, right?
So
Even if
hold on.
pod's erased from the story, we still use the law of identity to identify him, which is what my point is.
So
I'm completely fine if you want to say your character has like narrative manip, like it sounds like that, and
we
I
already
think that's
agreed my
completely
character has origin manipulation, but what we were arguing, because we were arguing my limitation transcendence, and then we started
yes,
to argue, yeah. So we started to argue that you basically proposed the law of identity as a limitation, and then I'm arguing as to why my origin manipulation would counteract that, right? So this I'm just clarifying as to what we're arguing. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you right now is number one, can you please put that argument into layman's terms without the prop logic? Like express
oh
your prop logic
sure,
into layman's terms. Okay, go ahead.
sure. So
Or reset what you said.
you know algebra, correct?
The algebra isn't really layman's terms. I don't.
Okay. So we're literally just taking a statement or my argument or my words, right? For
Yeah.
instance, I said dogs are this dog is cute, right? That's a
Yeah.
statement.
Okay.
And to
Yeah.
super simplify it, we're just labeling it as P, right? So whenever we see the word P, that means this dog is cute. Okay? Does that
Oh.
make sense?
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Keep
And
going.
then we're saying that
Mm-hmm.
this dog is cute. Okay. Then we're gonna literally make like a deductive statement, right? Right. We're gonna say if this dog is cute, then I like puppies. Okay. And
Not
the way
really.
we would
Not
simplify.
necessarily. Not necessarily. You can think a dog's cute, but not like puppies.
Yeah. I completely agree. I'm just giving this as an example. It doesn't necessarily have to like make a lot of sense. Okay.
Okay.
If we were to simplify that, right, we would say if this dog is cute, then I like
Yeah.
puppies.
Okay.
P, right, which is this dog is cute. Then we would say if then is
Yeah.
an implication.
Mm-hmm.
I like puppies is cute, right? So we've just simplified the statement into 3 symbols. So
Okay.
whenever we
Okay.
see those
So
symbols,
Halting,
we go,
now
okay,
apply this to your argument to my law of identity in layman's terms. Now do that.
yeah. So in statement logic, just the abbreviation for the law of identity is T equals Q. Okay?
Okay.
So for instance, Todd is always Todd. They will in all these like worlds or possible worlds we call them, Todd is always gonna be the same. He's either gonna be true or he's gonna be false. Okay? So
Okay.
yes, Todd is true. No, Todd is not true. We can even go back to the dog statement. This dog is cute is either true or it's false. Okay? It cannot be both. Because that's a
Oh,
contradiction.
so the
Okay?
law of contradiction. Okay. So now,
Yeah.
okay. So here's the issue with this, right? Right. I'm gonna propose 2 things if I'm not able to like explain this to you well enough. But basically, right, I'm saying that Todd does not exist. It's not contradictory
Okay.
because Todd does not
So
exist in any possible worlds. Here's why. If my character was to erase the origin of the reality that Todd, because we're off this real life shit. If Todd got his origin erased from the narrative that he was originally born in, this is where, because Todd, right, we're going to assume that he was born in this reality, in this timeline, in this narrative, right? So if we assume this, if Todd's origin, where he never, ever, ever spawned in this timeline, in this narrative, in this origin, it all got erased, then therefore Todd would not exist. It's just how it is. No one will have any reconciliation of him. He would have no effect on the reality. He would have no effect on the world. Now, if we're going off of possible worlds, basically, if Todd was to somehow, if Todd reincarnates into a different world, right? We can't just obviously logically assume everything would go under the basis that he has his old memories, same soul, right? Because this is just something that isn't proven, right? We don't even know if this reincarnation exists, how reincarnation works, but we're going to assume there's a possible world where one like such exists, right? Todd would still be identified now as a different person. Todd would have a different form of identification. Todd would not be the same person because Todd got erased. Todd never had an origin. Todd actually
okay.
never, ever, even in the beginning existed. There was no Todd. There was no Todd. Like I said, we have no effect on the narrative. There was never any Todd. So basically, I can't even call this reincarnation. I actually fucked up. I can't even call this reincarnation because there was never any Todd. Because the origin of when he used to be got erased. So that never happened. That never ever happened. So there was no Todd. Todd never came to be.
Swifty, you're making the mistake of thinking of the law of identity within the fiction. The law of identity would exist outside, and it's as long as we know what Todd is, then he has an identity, right? We
Okay,
would literally have to remove like our ability to elaborate or speak of Todd in language. Okay? As long as we ourselves, the readers, or anyone in the audience can refer to Todd in language, the law of identity has to and will always apply to him. This is a limitation I think every character has, right? Obviously, I agree. Within the story, Todd never existed, right?
Okay, so
Like,
that's all that matters. So I'm explaining why. I'm explaining why
okay,
because I've contended this. This all that matters because basically the law of identity, right? Obviously, we're gonna have a way to express Todd. So Todd never existed. Todd never existed. But I've already explained to you, Halting, right? We view fiction as a lower form of reality. Fiction, because Todd, I've already explained to you, right? Todd never had an origin in our reality. Todd never existed within our reality. Todd never Todd never touched foot in our timeline, but Todd was in a timeline that we view as fake, right? That someone in our reality writ in a fake novel, right? So basically, obviously, we're gonna have a way to express Todd, but this is just something we use as a representative to express Todd. This isn't actually his identity. And also, like I told you, right, us being able to express Todd doesn't mean that the law of identity within fiction is going to affect him. Fuck, I can speak
Well,
at
the
this.
law of identity is above all of fiction. What I'm literally saying here,
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
it,
whoa,
it,
whoa.
is I'm
Why?
literally saying, oh, because it applies to us, right? I literally think it goes the law of identity, the law, like laws of.
So wait, the law of
I do think
identity.
it goes the law of identity, the laws
Wait,
of
so you're saying
logic,
that anything
and then it's
that
up.
applies to us applies to fictional characters, that basically if we have something that shares in common or is a trait of a fictional character, it would just be above fiction? Because your reasoning for the law of identity being above fiction was, oh, it applies to us. So if I'm
Yes,
saying so if I have
if
a
it
similar
applies to
trait that
us, it
applies to a fictional,
transcends.
okay, that's
It transcends
contradictory. That's
characters.
contradictory because if I have
Nope.
a similar trait, or if I have something that applies to me that also applies to a to a fictional character, that doesn't mean that that's gonna that would be basically be saying what applies to me.
I would agree. If you have like AIDS or something, right? That AIDS like is above this entire fiction. I agree upon that.
Well,
Like
so AIDS wouldn't be. Why would AIDS be above fiction? Like, this is just getting ratty. I don't.
yes, because AIDS is negatively affecting you, aka it exists within our reality.
Sure.
Therefore, it is above this fiction. It would just be the case that if AIDS is in the fiction, then that's like a fictional representation of AIDS. Just like people in the fiction are just fictional representations. They don't scale the same to us in them.
So okay, Halting. There's a lot of issues. There's I don't get half of that, but there's a lot of issues with this, right? Just because something can apply to me and a fictional character at the same time does not mean that something would be above all of fiction if they put this into a metaphysical representation, right? Like for example, right? I think
SW, do you
hold
think
on,
you can light a comic book on fire?
wait. For example, DC, right? Gwenpool is able to read comics of other characters, right? This is something that applies to Gwenpool. This is something that applies to me. I'm able to read comics of other characters. So is
Mhm.
Deadpool. Or Gwenpool. My bad. This doesn't mean that comic book was above the verse, as Gwenpool was able to affect this comic book. She was able to be above this comic book. She was able to burn this comic book. She has the same capabilities as me. I'm able to burn this comic book. I'm able to step on it. It does
It
not
would mean she's
necessarily.
above it. What?
Wait, that just contradicts what you said. Yeah, she's above it. So then,
Yes,
okay,
she's
yeah, okay,
above the comic book she's
conclude.
reading. Yes,
Okay,
she's
so
above
yeah, and
she's
that's
above
contradictory.
the fiction. No,
That's
it's not a
contradictory.
contradiction.
That's a
All it
blatant
is
contradiction.
she's just above the fictional representation of that comic book. That's all that means.
Our comic book isn't affecting the fiction. It holds no correspondence, Halting.
Wait. So, Swifty, if Gwenpool is
You're
reading a
starting
comic,
to argue. You're starting to argue, right? Real life and fiction. This isn't an IRL versus
yes,
fiction debate.
I do think they correspond, Swifty, right?
Well, how
If
would anything that
Gwenpool
exists in our world be able
is
to affect
reading a
the fucking
Golden Age
fictional verse? I'm
Superman
so
comic book,
lost.
sorry, what?
How would anything in our world be able to affect the fictional world? And here's something, and I'm gonna explain to you as to
Yeah,
why this
if I
is a
light the
contradiction.
comic book on fire, the comic book no longer exists. I just murdered Gwenpool.
Nah, it still exists because there's other copies of that comic book.
If I go around the world, right, I rip every single comic of like Gwenpool apart, right, and literally
I
I
don't
like
think that's
destroy the
logically possible.
printers.
That's not logically possible.
It's not logically possible. I mean, it is logically possible.
No,
If I'm like fucking Bill Gates
that would be
and I go,
not even
yes,
Bill.
I
That's not
want.
possible for Bill Gates either, because that would be assuming that Bill Gates is aware of every single person that has ever in the entire history bought a Gwenpool comic. Bill Gates is aware of how many copies that every single person is printed of a Gwenpool topic.
Wait,
That would assume
sure.
that Bill Gates
Hold
is
on.
is
Hold on.
aware of every other fucking copy that everyone has ever hidden of a Gwenpool comic.
Check check scan.
This is just not possible. This is not possible. I don't
Check
this
scan.
by the probability and possibility, your argument would just not be very plausible. I don't. It doesn't hold any. It very much means or backing to it.
So
I think. Okay, halting. I'm not gonna
I
lie. I
just
think we're getting on
created
a
a
tangent.
character named Todd.
We're getting on a
Wait,
tangent.
wait, wait, wait,
We're
wait, wait.
getting on a tangent.
I'm literally about to explain on how we can affect fictional characters. So there's this character named Todd I have in scans. Is
Uh-huh.
everyone looking at him?
No.
Why
Wait.
just
Hold on.
erase him from existence? His fiction no longer exists. There's no more Todd. Hold on. And then I'll give him life.
He never existed.
Boom. Todd is now a fictional character again.
That's not a fiction.
Oh, well, now he's not a fictional character anymore. His adventure of him slaying the dragon is now no longer a thing. Right?
That was never written. That wasn't
I typed it. I wrote it. What?
you typed Todd. That wasn't a fiction. What?
Todd was a fictional character.
No, he wasn't.
Well, is he not real?
No, okay, halting. If you're basically
Wait,
saying
so,
that
Swiftyy,
wait,
is
hold
he
on,
or is he not real?
So halting. Let me
You're
explain.
not answering the question, Swifty.
No,
Is it the case
hold on,
that
hold
Todd
on.
is
Whoa.
real or is not
I don't
real?
have to answer. I don't have to answer you in a yes or no
Yes,
manner.
you do. Why are you dodging?
Wait,
You dodging
I'm
the
going to
question,
answer you.
Swifty?
I'm going to answer
Demonstrate
you.
to
That's a
us.
loaded question. That's a loaded
It's
question.
not a yes, and loaded questions are fine, right? Because it's to express the
No,
point
not
that
necessarily.
since he's not real, he is fictional. Since he is
Wait,
fictional, I
this
just
isn't
demonstrated
addressing the
a
loaded
real
question point.
character. I
Because
can
hold on,
remove them
halting.
their
I'm halting.
narrative.
Okay, halting. I don't want to have to get loud, bro. I'm like being pretty damn respectful here. I don't like fuck. I don't. There's no need for that. But basically, right. The reason this is the loaded question, right? And you said that you never really attacked as to why a loaded question was fine. The reason it's a loaded question is because I was blatantly going to respond to this, and you said Swifty respond. I'm like I don't have to respond in yes or no. You said yes, you do. That's just a blatant loaded question.
I explained why you do have to respond to loaded questions.
That's not a loaded question.
The outside. Okay, bro. You cannot help him. He is not justified as to why that's not a loaded question.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not helping
so
it. It's just not a loaded
the
question.
reason it's not, or the reason why loaded questions are fine, is
You
just
never
direct.
justified as to why loaded questions were
Well,
fine.
I'm about to justify them right now. What? Hold on, give me a second.
By the way, halting. I think we're on a very bad tangent. That's kind of irrelevant. We went from limitation transcendence to fiction to IRL. I think we need to kind of get back on point, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, well, this all connects, and I can even explain.
No. We've
You-
made
you
like 5 different points. I think we need to get back because this is a bit unnecessary. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, well, let me finish why
This
why
is
loaded
no
questions are
halting.
fine,
This is turning
and
into
then
a
sure,
yes test.
we
But
can discuss if we need to get if this is connected or not. So the reason loaded questions are fine is, as I said, they're to explain to you and the audience what the clear conclusion I am trying to represent is, right? For instance, if I say, well, do you think killing children is wrong? Right? Like obviously
Mhm.
that is to entail that, like, yes, you are to say yes because any morally reasonable individual will say yes, right? And that's to get across the point I am trying to make. Like
No,
this
okay.
doesn't
So
create any logical
halting.
inconsistencies or something.
Okay, so halting. Now, here's why this is still a loaded question. This doesn't justify loaded questions being necessarily correct, right? A loaded question basically assumes that I have to answer in yes or no, and this will further help your argument because I'm not allowed to elaborate or explain upon this, right? Therefore, if I'm not allowed to elaborate or explain upon my yes or no answer, this would further benefit your argument because you're able to get a jump and able to explain further. As to, like, this would just benefit your argument, right? Here's what I'm trying to tell you. I can still respond to this as to like I give my reasoning and say therefore yes or therefore no or therefore maybe or therefore just yes. Like I can explain to you without necessarily answering and yes or no first, right? So basically, right? The reason why loaded questions are not okay and the reason that they were created in the first place, halting, was because if you make me answer in yes or no, this would just further benefit your argument, right? Because this would benefit your argument is because I'm not able to elaborate or justify what I'm saying. Therefore, if I'm not giving no justification or no base to what I'm saying, this will just be a baseless claim. So now, I'll just rather conclude on this point because we're getting out of hand. This whole point, I'll summarize it for you because I have a pretty good recollection. Hold on, wait.
I think if you leave this point, you are conceding.
No, wait. The whole point was this. Limitation transcendence. What's the limit of limitation? Law of identity. My character's origin manipulation. That's how we got into this. So now let's conclude. Cool?
No, Swifty, I think if you leave this, you are just directly conceding to
I'm
multiple
not
points.
conceding.
Wait, yes.
Okay, well
Not
if you're confident in that,
not
let's go
only
to
would you
conclusions.
concede, Swifty, to the law of identity still applying to your character, you would also concede to the point of there can be fictional representations of things in our reality, you would also concede that we would fictionally,
I've counteracted
and
all of
then
this.
you
And
would
if you
also
wait,
concede to the
okay,
point not
you're
only
shotgunning,
entailing
you're
that
shotgunning,
origin myth would not change of
halting, you're
identity,
shotgunning,
would
halting, you're
also
shotgunning,
I'm
halting, you're shotgunning, halting, you're shotgunning.
Swifty, in this sense, it's completely fine because I'm
No, because I'm
expressing
not
to
allowed
you
to respond to any
why,
of this.
if you
I'm not
move
responding.
on, you would
Halting,
concede to what points,
halting.
and that's
You
not
make one
shotgunning.
point at a time. This is shotgunning.
I'm
You're
not
making multiple
shotgunning you,
different
Swifty.
points.
I'm literally bringing up all the points. If you
Halting,
move on, you would concede.
halting. That's your opinion, and if you're confident in that, let's just go to conclusions.
I
It's
made
not
the
that difficult.
affirmation of that
disagree with
statement.
your. I've disagreed with your affirmation, so I will go to the
Well, a
conclusions, and we can get the judge's
disagreement
opinion.
is Swifty. A
That's your
disagreement
opinion. That's your
isn't a
subjective opinion.
formal.
That's your
It's not my
subjective
opinion.
opinion.
It's my argument,
That's your
Swifty.
subjective. Okay, and I counteracted the
Disagreeing
argument
isn't a
90 times.
formal argument.
You're ratting. Are you God halting? Are we doing this
How am
again?
I
Are we
ratting?
doing this again? Are we doing this again,
How are
halting?
you How am I ratting?
Because
I'm
I've
literally
disagreed with this affirmation. I've
demonstrated to you
disagreed. This
formal
is your
argument.
opinion.
If
I have explained to
it's
you as
not
to
an
why I did not concede. So let's go to
it's not
conclusion.
an
All right,
opinion though,
Punk Rider,
Swifty,
hold
and I
on.
can even
I'm
just
appealing to the judge.
hold on. I'll even
Punk Rider, give
justify
me
why
forced
it's not
conclusions.
an opinion.
This is going
So it's
circular on a
directly
straight
an
tangent.
opinion. I mean, it's directly not an opinion
Halting. Your
because
son,
I am
bro.
containing
No,
arguments.
Punk, your
All my
son's going on a
arguments are
fucking rant. He's yapping.
predicated whether or
Punk,
not you are
bro.
able to
No
disprove
chance.
that Gwenpool affecting a
Why are we
comic
talking
book
about
is
Gwenpool?
her
Oh my fucking
affecting a
god. Oh my
fictional
god.
representation
Halting.
of that comic
Bro,
book.
I've defeated this 20 minutes
Just
ago.
that
Let's go to
would
conclusion.
lead holes in your
Halting. Let's
argument
go to
and would
conclusion.
lead you to conceding.
Halting. Let's go to fucking conclusions. Like
So
holy
you're not
shit, you're
going
not
to
gonna
argue
overtalk me. You are not gonna overtalk me. Who the fuck do you think you are? No.
Swifty.
Who do you think you are, bro? Let's go to fucking conclusions. You keep fucking
Swifty,
yapping. I have
Swifty,
counteracted everything you
why are
said
you getting loud? Are you
because
this
you're fucking
unconfident?
interrupting me. You're interrupting me. You won't shut
Swifty,
up.
no, all
You
you're
won't
saying
shut up. You're an
is,
autist.
you're
You're an
trying to
autist.
deny
You're an
reality and
Oh
trying to
my
say my
god, what are you
argument
talking
isn't
about? Deny
coherent.
reality. When did I ever say that? Okay, no. Now he's just chatting. Halting. I meant
No,
punk
I'm not,
conclusions.
Swifty.
Punk
You're
conclusions. Punk
directly
conclusions.
telling the audience
You
and
gotta
me
step in and force
that
conclusions
if
eventually. He's yapping.
we go to that,
Punk, bro.
actually, Swifty, you're just directly saying that
Punk.
at no
Punk.
point are the 5 points I brought up anywhere connected.
Bro.
And
You
if
have
you
the
drop
force.
this, you are conceding to the points of all 5 of those.
I already explained to you as to why I've attacked every single one of
Well,
those points you listed.
well, then
Throughout
redemonstrate
the
that,
whole
Swifty.
hour debate that we've been on this whole
I
one
don't
limitation
think you
transcendence point,
addressed
I
that at
have
all,
attacked
Swifty.
everything you've said. If you don't care, that's just
I
argument
don't
for
think you
ignorance.
have, Swifty.
You haven't attacked four
I'm
fallacies.
even
I
gonna
think you
claim
conceded.
you
I think you
haven't.
conceded, halting.
No, I haven't,
Punk, you
Swifty.
have
Why are
Punk,
you
you
trying
have
to
to
make
force
that argument?
conclusions. This is chatting. This is just chatting.
So then you're not going to respond to any of the
I
arguments,
have
Swifty.
responded. I've already responded. This is just you're going circular.
What was your response that was given, Swifty?
Halting. You want me to go over all 10 points that we've already been
I
on?
want you to specifically refer to on how you debunked the point of the law of identity being above us, being above
Holy
fiction,
shit. Halting.
and anything
I
that
don't.
would
Okay,
affect
halting.
us
Okay,
being
halting.
above fiction.
I'm gonna request moderation if you don't shut up, or I'm just gonna get loud. It's one of the two.
I don't know why you're like trying to just
No,
present your.
it's one of the two because you won't shut the fuck
I
up.
don't care for your time wasting, Swifty. Present one of your two
Time
arguments.
wasting. You're fucking chatting, you retard. Shut up. That's why you're fucking F tier.
You're
Anyways,
literally
that's why
saying
you've
words
lost
that
3
aren't
points. That's
related
why
to
you've
the
lost 3
argument,
points in a
Swifty.
low.
So
Anyways,
please go on to the argument,
anyways,
or just
anyways,
stop
little bro.
time wasting.
Anyways, little bro. Right. Anyways, I'll let you get passed around by half the calm after this. But anyways, let me just explain to you. Right. We were arguing limitation transcendence. We went on to 10 different points. Those 10 different points, we proceeded to, I would estimate, we argued for about 40 minutes. Now, if I were to rephrase and give you every single one of those defeaters and continue to going, this would be circular because we would be going circular. We've already been over these points. Now, you saying to me, halting, that, oh, you would be conceding Swifty, right? This is an opinion. And you're like, oh, this is my affirmation. This is my affirmation. I disagree. And I have explained to you throughout these 10 points, throughout all these tangents, as to why I disagree. That's basically like just me saying, since I have an opinion on something, right? Since I perceive my character to be above yours, right? And I made an affirmation, it would just automatically be true. This is not how fiction works. This is not how the conversations work. This is not how debates work, right? Obviously, when we disagree, we argue, right? You made this affirmation. I disagreed. Now, when we went back on all 10 of these points, the law of identity, the Gwenpool, all of this, what do you think we've been doing for the past hour? We've been arguing. I gave you my refutations for everything. Now, if you hold the opinion that I conceded, that is okay. That is completely fucking fine, Halting. The one who makes the final verdict on who actually lost the point, who conceded, is Punk. So this is why I am telling you, if you continue on this route, it will just be circular. I also think you've conceded because you have yet to attack 4 different fallacies. I also think you've
So
conceded is because you have no. You're not gonna interrupt me. You're not gonna interrupt me.
okay, retard.
You're not
Go
gonna
on.
interrupt me. You cannot call you, bro. You've lost to me multiple times and you haven't won a point in this debate. But regardless of the point,
Multiple times. Okay, well now you're just lying. But go
regardless
on,
of the
sir.
point, twice, one discussion, one actual debate. But it's fine. Anyways, Halting. Yeah. So basically, right. If we were to continue to go down this route, you would just be going circular because all of these stances, all of our positions, all of the refutations, everything to do with these points has already been stated. If you were to go back on this and ask for more justification that has already been stated, ask for that refutation again, this would be circular reasoning blatantly. So, Punk Rider, this is why I am telling you, this has nothing to do with out debating. If we continue down this route and Halting is too stupid to understand what circular reasoning is, we're never going to finish. It is, what time, bro? It is 12 a.m. Halting, I think it's like 3 a.m. for you, bro. There is no way you have the energy to do this. Go to conclusions. It is circular. It is blatantly circular. I don't know if the judge can see this or not, but it is blatantly fucking circular. It is just the most blatant. You're going circular. There's nothing. There's no point in this. You're going circular. Conclude if you are confident that that you won the point. Conclude. It's not
So
that difficult.
Swifty. First of all, I just wanted to address. I don't know why you're attacking the judge, like attacking his
I'm not
intelligence,
attacking
saying,
him. I'm
"Oh,
not
I
attacking.
don't,
Did
I
I
don't
doubt his
know if the judge
intelligence?
can see this or not." Like he hasn't affirmed he's paying attention. Second of all, Swifty, all my opponents
I
would
think
be
it's quite
connected, right?
obvious that you were going
Directly,
circular.
and I'll even explain on how they're
I
connected right
already
now.
explained to this. Oh
So
my god.
if we justify, or if it goes through that, then we agree upon these
You're
characters or
chatting.
things that
You're
affect
just
us are
chatting.
above these
Halting, you're
characters.
chatting. You're not
Swifty, I
saying
let
anything.
you speak, so why don't you
You're
calm
just
down and
because
let me speak?
you're not
So I'm
attacking
gonna
anything that's
turn
said.
you down,
You're
and
just
I'm just gonna
chatting.
present my argument to
That's a
the audience
concession.
and the judge.
That would be a
So
concession.
we
That'd be a
directly know
concession.
it's the
I
case that
conceded.
if we
He
follow my
conceded.
argument, Swifty,
He's
and
halting
if we
dialectic.
say that
This is concession.
yes, things
That's a
that
concession.
affect us
That's a concession.
are above characters
GG's.
because
That's a
I
concession.
can delete a character. I
That's a
even
concession.
demonstrated, and I'll even do it again. So let me demonstrate it once again. Punk Rider, I would like you to look into scans chat. So here's Todd.
Yeah, it's a concession.
This is my fictional character. I've just
Okay,
erased
yeah. So
Todd's fiction
okay.
from
So the
existence.
reason why this is a
Swifty,
concession,
you would
this is
have
the
to
reason why
attack
this is a
this,
concession.
otherwise you have not
It's because he's
defended
upholding the
against my
dialect as
argument
he's
that
making
yes, it
multiple
is in
different
fact
points.
the
I've
case
already claimed
that
that this is
arguments
fucking
and
circular, and
things
he is just not
that
attacking
are
it and
affecting
yapping.
us
Then he proceeds to turn me down
do
when I
in
told him
fact
multiple times that I need to
have
attack the
power
point that
over
he just
fiction,
made
right?
because he
Because
was
if it
chatting.
affects
He didn't
me
affect any of my
and I
points.
affect
Therefore,
the
for him
fiction,
turning
then
me
it
down,
is the case that I'm
he has
above fiction,
he has
right? We can
nonetheless a
even
concession
say
that he is not
we can
attacked.
even literally make an
Therefore, he's
argument
upholding
and say,
dialectic. Therefore, it's a
Swifty,
concession.
it is in fact the
It's a
case
concession,
that
blatantly.
the difference between me and a fictional character is I contain mass, right? A fictional character
He's just
does not
chatting.
contain mass at all.
He
So
never brought up
therefore,
mass. What is
that
he
is
talking
just the
about?
direct reason why a fictional character is below us. And obviously, any virus that affects me, like I said, AIDS, does have mass. That's specifically why I brought up like AIDS and why it said it is larger than the fiction, right? Directly like entailing mass. So once we affirm that yes, things in fiction are below us, then we can say that anything that is fictionally above your character or
Alter, are
fictionally
you just saying the
transcends your
same thing?
character
This
is
is
in
just
fact
circular. This is
Hello?
just fucking chatting.
beyond this limitation
Bro, he
manipulation or
turned the
whatever you
fucking
call
judge
it.
down. Holy shit, he's retarded.
No, Punk Rider, I heard you. I just wanted to finish
Oh, it's why he's too
and
arrogant to
make my
respond.
point
Fucking
clear.
retard.
So
Alright, he
Swifty,
conceded. You conceded. I gave you an
any
I gave you a
argument you
warranted
would have
concession.
made that directly said I
So
conceded,
yeah, so
I'm
you
just
made a bunch of
directly
different
adding
points.
a
You made a bunch of
negation
different
to it.
points there and did not let me respond. There and
I
turned me
don't
down.
need to
Therefore,
make
you're upholding the
Swifty.
dialectic.
I
Therefore,
didn't
you conceded.
Swifty. No, I didn't uphold the dialectic at
Yeah,
all.
you did.
You
I
would
can
have to
explain why.
justify why though.
I just explained to you why. You
Go
literally
on, justify it.
okay, so yeah, you made a bunch of different points, right? And then you proceeded to turn me down when I tried to respond, right? Therefore, I would not be able to respond to a shotgun. Hence, you would be upholding the dialect because there would be no actual defense or what's it called? There'd be no refutation or no defeater to your arguments because you're blatantly just basically saying, "Hey, I'm ignorant. I'm just gonna turn you down. Ignore everything you're saying and just rant
Not the
on
case,
another
Swifty.
whole."
All my
Did
arguments
you
I
not? Did you?
repeat is just me directly
Okay, we
saying
can
how my
ask the
arguments
judge if
are
you
It's
didn't
not
repeat
multiple
the same thing
arguments.
3 times and they were multiple arguments. What do you mean it's not
They were
Halting?
not
That's
multiple arguments. They
that's
were all arguments
contradictory.
that
That's contradictory.
coexisted within my first argument or the first branches
That's
of our
multiple different
discussion.
points, Halting. That's multiple different arguments that show a
Bring
shotgun.
up the multiple different arguments I made.
We made the Gwenpool argument, we made the limitation transcendence argument, we made the law of identity argument, we made the fiction
Okay,
being
so
above
then I
reality. That's
just
4 different
explained to
points.
the audience
So you
on
made
how
four
these are
different
all
points
connected.
and
That
muted
is
me.
one
That's a concession.
argument, Swifty.
All
That
right,
is one
Punk
argument,
Rider, can we
Swifty.
go to conclusions? I
You
explained to him
have
why it's
not
a concession.
demonstrated why presenting one singular argument is a concession.
Oh, Punk Rider, I've explained why it's a concession. I don't know what you want me to do.
No,
I've
all
explained.
you said,
I've
Swifty,
explained.
is you
I've explained.
directly claimed that I'm presenting
Punk,
multiple arguments
bro,
while I'm
I've
making the
explained why this is a
definitive
concession. He's not.
distinction, Swifty, that these are directly one argument, and it's just me elaborating on how all of these arguments are in fact connected. That would just be one
That's still
argument.
multiple points, still a shotgun. You turning me down is just a concession.
I don't think a shotgun's bad because I'm giving you time to
Yeah,
respond. You
you're
can
not.
literally
You're
respond to
not
all
giving
of
me
them right
time to
now.
respond. You're not. You were not giving me time to respond.
You
You
can
muted me and
respond
then
to all of
shotgunned
them
me.
right now, Swifty.
Well, I wouldn't be able to remember them all because you muted me, and I wouldn't be able to attack them
Oh,
one at a
I
time.
can
Therefore, it's a shotgun.
directly repeat them all for you, Swifty, right now.
No, but that's still a concession.
No,
That's
that's
fine.
not a
That's
concession,
completely.
Swifty. I
That's
literally am
completely
giving
fine.
you
You
proper.
shotgunned me and then
I'm
proceeded
giving
to
you
mute me.
enough time to respond
Therefore,
to
there
all
would
of
be no
them, and I'm
defense.
even able to repeat all of my
Oh
arguments,
my god.
Swifty.
Okay,
You're the
Punk
one
Rider,
who's trying to
please. Punk
escape
Rider, please, bro.
dialectic.
I'm gonna get a Carrier Bridge in here at this point. This is fucking ridiculous. No,
Is it
this
because you're unable to
no, because
justify why it
you're
is the
not willing to
case?
go to conclusions, and the Punk Rider is not willing to
I
force
don't
conclusions.
think
So
we
we're
need
gonna get nowhere.
Swifty. I think
We're
it would
gonna
be a
get
very
nowhere.
bad look on you to move to conclusions after you literally have not refuted any of
I
my
have
arguments.
refuted everything you've said. I've already explained to you why it's circular. I've already gave you a warranted concession that
You
you
have
did not.
not justified why it's circular, Swifty.
Uh, uh, halt. Okay, Punk Rider, please. Now you have to, bro. That was my whole
I don't know
point.
why you're trying to appeal to the
Please.
judge,
Okay,
Swifty.
let's conclude, Halting. Let's conclude.
Okay, so then you want it to be a bad look on you?
That's fine, Halting. Let's conclude.
Because I would feel very bad for you, Swifty.
That's fine,
Why
Halting.
don't
Let's
you
conclude.
quickly elaborate on why it's circular?
No,
Because I
no, no.
don't think it's the case.
I
It's
don't need
circular.
to anymore, Halting. Let's conclude.
Well, hold on. I'll even justify why it's not the case. It's
Oh
not
my, see,
circular.
he just wants
So
to
it's just
go. He won't
directly not
conclude, bro.
circular
Punk Rider,
because,
please.
or even being circular is fine because
I'm
I'm
never doing this
re-elaborating
ever
on
again.
arguments. I'm literally telling you so you can remember what the arguments are. Oh,
Fuck this.
I think that's perfectly fine, and I don't see why that would be like wrong, Swifty. You would have to justify that
Can we
to
conclude?
us.
Can we conclude?
So you're not gonna justify why
Can we
like
conclude? I've already
why
done
like
this. Can we conclude?
circular reasoning is
Yeah.
fine or
Can we
isn't
conclude?
fine?
Can we conclude, Halting?
Why do we need to conclude, Swifty?
Because if we do not conclude, we're not going to get a verdict and we're going to go nowhere. So let's conclude.
Well, I want you to be able to elaborate on your arguments.
I don't care what
Swifty.
you want. Let's conclude.
Okay, so then you're just gonna be like unwilling to progress the dialectic.
I've progressed that. I've responded to it. I think I've responded
No,
to it.
you're Swifty. I'm directly telling you, hey,
That's your opinion. That's
explain why it's
completely
the
fine.
case.
Let's
It's circular
conclude.
reasoning. Here's my argument why it's not, and then you're saying,
Punk,
I'm
bro,
not
can
going
you
to.
force
I'm
a
not going
fucking
to. I'm gonna
conclusion,
sit
bro?
right here, Mr. Holding
This
Sphinx.
is the same thing. He's not willing to conclude. He
No,
doesn't have
I
to.
don't.
He doesn't.
I
Yeah, see,
literally think
he's being
Swifty's like
ignorant.
is just
Punk
upholding the
Rider, bro,
dialect.
you know you can. You know you can fucking force. You don't have to have his permission to conclude.
Those
This
are
is
not
not.
my
we-
standards.
So Swifty has
Well
to
then,
2v3.
okay. So hold on, Punk Rider. If you're not willing to force a conclusion, and he's just not willing to ever go to conclusions, the debate doesn't progress.
It literally is progressing, right?
No, because we're never going to be able to get a
I'm
verdict on
literally
point.
saying, Swifty, present your argument to why this is
I
the
already
case, and you're
have.
saying
I
I'm
already
not going
have.
to.
I already have.
What was the argument, Swifty? It is up
This
your
will just be
duty
going
to be able to
circular, so
present
there's
an
no
argument.
reason to present it again. I've
Why
explained it to
is
you
going
3 different
circular
times
bad, Swifty?
because we would just be going in a circular motion and the debate would not progress.
I think you can progress while going in like a circular
No,
argument, right?
because we would never.
If us going in a
Oh my
circle
god, bro,
literally
halting,
allows us to
bro,
progress and understand the arguments better,
halting, bro.
I
You
think
know
that's
what?
fine. It's literally
Halting,
progressive.
halting. You know what, bro? If you think this is all just true, let's conclude.
So you're not going to refute the argument I just made?
And you can think that, bro. Let's conclude.
So then I guess I'll just continue attacking everything else since you want to drop this point.
This guy is
so
not. That's
fine.
not drop your. Let's
Oh.
conclude. Holy fuck! I'm dead ass about to get the whole fucking calm on your ass, bro. No, this is actually ridiculous.
Okay, so then you're
You're
unable to
gonna
like
be labeled an
debate
F tier. You're gonna be labeled an F tier after
So
this.
you're unable to debate Swifty, and
I
you're
have
literally
responded
like
to everything.
crying and whining.
Punk Rider,
So,
bro, can you force a
so
fucking
you don't want to
conclusion?
be able to
Like,
present an
bro,
argument, Swifty?
this is not gonna go nowhere. You've lost all 3
I
points.
mean, I'm
Can you
literally
shut the fuck
presenting
up?
arguments to you,
I
Swifty,
have beat
and
you
you're
on
the
all
one
3
who's
points.
sitting
Can
here
you shut
going,
the fuck
"We
up?
need to reach a we need to go to the judge for a conclusion." Don't think so. I think we're
You
literally
don't think
reaching.
so? So then, okay,
conclusions.
that's a concession, GG's.
How is that a concession,
Because
Swifty?
if you think that we do not need a judge, therefore there's gonna be no conclusion on the debate. Therefore, the debate would not progress.
I don't think we necessarily need a judge. I think we can go. You know what, Swifty?
Then
You
there would
and
be
me,
then there would be
we
then there
have
would
come
be
to a
no formal.
conclusion we both agree on. We
No,
have
that
just ended the debate. I think that can happen.
I have that was not gonna happen because I don't agree to that. So
That's
I'm
not gonna happen.
no, okay. Well,
Obviously, that's not gonna
okay. So
happen.
no,
Halting,
Swifty.
please
If you're
conclude, man. I need
sitting
to go
here
play
and you're
Spider-Man. You're holding
going,
me up, dog.
yeah,
bro,
no one wants to
SRW,
fucking listen to this
fucking mute,
faggot.
bro. So
Bro,
SRW,
Punk, I'm never agreeing to
I
this
mean
fucker
Swifty,
Puckeratic judging a fucking halting debate ever again because he's not willing to force a conclusion. And Punk, and obviously, right,
because you're
he
not
knows
willing to give an argument, Swifty.
I have done
You
that.
literally rely on the judge to be able to
Rely on
progress
the
the
judge.
dialectic for you. That's very depressing.
Wait. So halting. Let me explain something to you, right? And I'm actually after this, if you keep doing this, I'm just gonna get loud because I obviously Punk Rider does not give two flying fucks. But basically, right? I'm just gonna explain to you. You agreed to Punk Rider being the judge. Therefore, if you do not care for his authority, there would be no
That's not
way.
what I said at
Actually,
all, retard.
what do you mean? What did you not say?
Yeah, so at no point did I say his authority does not matter over the dialectic.
Well,
I
if you're saying that
simply
we do not
said
need his
we do
conclusion,
not
then we do not need his
necessarily.
authority, is what you're saying.
I know, Swifty. All I said is I said we do not necessarily need him to
Hold on.
progress the dialectic. We can agree to something, and that can move the debate
Well,
forward.
we're never
Such
gonna
as
get a
us
verdict, and we're not
compensating.
agreeing. So if we're not agreeing and we're not moving forward, we would need a verdict.
Mm,
This is common
so
sense.
the direct Swifty.
Bro's
Yeah,
pulling out his
Swifty. I'm
nerd
thinking I what
glasses.
you say.
Bro's pulling out
So
his nerd glasses. Like, shut
the
the fuck up,
direct
bro.
difference between what you're doing, Swifty, and on how I'm trying to
Alright,
progress
hold
it
on. Let me
is
explain something to you, you
instead
fucking
of
fat
you.
ass faggot,
Okay,
bro.
so then you're just
We
gonna
have
lie,
no,
right?
yeah. We've already agreed, right? Yep. Keep your soundboard going low, bro. Anyways, I'm muting that shit. Anyways, let's just go, right? Since you lost all 3 points, you realize after complimenting and dick sucking my rhetoric, right? You realize that you were no match, so you had to go to ratting and you had to have your daddy judge, right, who is not willing to force a conclusion. Therefore, right, we can just continue going down this road. We're never gonna reach a verdict. Since you are a fucking retard, right? Since we can just go off the recording, I will send this to anybody in the community that you fucking want. That's not your baby daddy dick sucking your dick, bitch. Anyways, I don't know what you're arguing at this point. Let's just go to conclusions. If not, I guess we're just gonna be here fucking yapping all night. So it's up to you, bro. I don't care at this point. I don't care. I'm just gonna say this right now, Halting. You don't need a fucking feat this badly. You're not Infinity, bro. You're not expelled from your fucking school to the point where your Discord reputation is the only thing that affects you, bro. I know you got beat up on all 3 points and you want to rat. I agreed to your dad as the fucking judge, bro. I agreed to your prop logic teacher as the fucking judge, right? I did not know that he's not willing to force a conclusion with a fucking Shin 445 clone, but at the end of the fucking day, right? Your daddy agreed that you lost all 3 points. So now on the fourth point that's been going on for an hour, you don't want to fucking conclude and we're just gonna be here for a fucking millennials. This is gonna go nowhere. If you think you won, conclude. If you want to keep going down this fucking rat shit, we're just gonna be here forever. I don't care, Halting. It's up to you. I don't care. Like, bro, I know you're a fucking 25-year-old man on Discord, right? Who plays Destiny and is fat as fuck and smells throughout the fucking Discord screen. But at the end of the day, you can still fucking conclude a debate. It doesn't matter if you fucking lost. You're not gonna wake up in the morning and be like, oh fuck, I lost a Discord debate, guys. Fuck, it's over for me. It's over for me. I'm gonna go fucking cook ramen noodles with my house heater like I'm fucking Infinity. Like shit. You're not fucking D1 takes it to the point where he almighty pushes his mom down the fucking stairs. That's how much debating matters to him. Like fuck me. At this point, just conclude, or I actually have zero issue of staying in this VC with you however long you fucking want, to the point where it's just gonna go nowhere. Because you seem to not want to conclude because you know you lost. You know you lost. You know you lost. You've lost 3 points. Even if you were to magically win this point, it would be 3 points to 1. You have scaled your character nowhere. So therefore, if you scaled your character nowhere and the points were 3 to 1, you still were not fucking winning. This is going nowhere, Halting. You're not gonna win either way. Just conclude. For the love of God. I will not have an issue with you if you just fucking conclude. Like, shit. Punk Rider, bro, I don't know what your issue is in forcing conclusions with your son who's been going circular that I've already justified. Gave him multiple concessions that he went unwarranted. But I don't know what your issue is with that. But I mean, clearly, I think you have a form of common sense, right? Where you know that if you do not force conclusions and he's blatantly not willing to go, this debate is obviously not going to be able to like progress, or we're not going to be able to reach a conclusion on this point. I think we know this. This is common sense.
Okay, I don't want to interrupt.
But it's not
So,
interrupting. It's not.
Swifty,
No, no, no. Okay, I'm
are
gonna
you
keep
gonna
talking. I'm gonna keep
are you
talking.
gonna give
So
your argument to
I
why
have.
it's
I
circular or
already
not?
have. I already have. I already
No,
have.
you have.
I've done it 5
I
times
already-
actually.
Swifty, what was your argument to why it's circular or why it's bad?
Well, if I gave it again, it would just be circular. So I'm not gonna do that. I've given it
Okay,
5
so
times.
you're unwilling to progress the dialectic.
It's not
It's very
progressing
funny when
dialectic. This should just be
you
circular.
criticize me for
And
apparently
I've explained to you why it's bad.
upholding the dialectic, but then I go, Swifty, I've already given an argument to why it's fine to be circular because we do reach
I
a
actually,
ultimate
bro, it's
conclusion at
we
the
don't.
end, and
No, we
it can't
don't.
even
No, we
help
don't.
us
Wait, how would we
conclude
reach?
the
How would
other
we reach a conclusion, bro? How would we reach a
Yeah,
conclusion?
so for instance, Swifty, if you and me are for instance discussing the law of identity, right? And then we just keep repeating P equals P, at some point there can come to the what was I trying to say? Oh
I
yeah.
was
we
fucking
can come to
stuttering
the
because he doesn't even know
point-
what he's talking
Holy
about.
shit, Halting.
No, I'm trying to think on
Fuck.
how to express
No,
this
yeah,
argument.
because you're just fucking retarded. I'll explain to you how it is.
So
If
if
me and
we
you
hold on, well, let me
under you, no,
finish,
no, no,
Swifty.
under
So
your fucking
if we
basis,
come
if
to
we
the
went under the
ultimate
fucking,
point,
no, 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 no,
we
no,
come to the
shut up,
ultimate
shut up,
point
son, shut up,
that
son,
we
shut up,
discover
son.
something new, Swifty.
Oh my
We
god.
do in fact discover, and we did just further the debate, right?
No,
So
we didn't.
us reaching,
That's just
wait,
blatantly contradictory.
I just directly explained why going circular
I can directly explain
can
as to why it's
fulfill a better
contradictory.
understanding
No, it won't.
of
Do
the
you want me to
dialect.
explain why? Are you gonna let me explain why? Or are you gonna keep talking? I'll
I mean,
explain to you.
go on.
I will
Why does it
explain it to
not
you.
give us a
This is
further
completely
understanding of the
irrelevant,
topic?
but I will explain this to you, right? And then after this, can we go to conclusions if I explain this to you?
I mean, if it's
Is
like
that
valid,
okay?
sure. It's
No,
valid, sure.
that's subjective, bro. Because you're just not agreeing to go. No matter what is said, you're just not
I
agreeing to
would.
go to
It would
conclusions.
have to be an argument that would, yes, lead to a conclusion. Sure.
No, okay. So basically, right? You're
Like
saying,
if you just
that,
make an
oh,
argument,
can you just shut the fuck up for 1 second, you fat
go on,
fucker?
Swifty. Then.
Anyways, basically, right? If me and you were going circular on the same point, you said P equals P. If you said P equals P and I said F equals F, and we just went on that same point for 90 years, giving the same reasonings, right? This is circular reasoning. If we said P equals P because of so, or P equals P because of B, and I said F equals F because of C, and we went under this argument for 9 fucking, or just if we just kept going on this argument, right, under your basis, because you blatantly told me earlier that we do not need a judge to reach a conclusion. That is what you blatantly fucking told me. So
That's an
basically,
inherent.
no, okay, inherent. It doesn't matter. So if we inherently don't need a judge to reach a fucking conclusion, and you're not willing to go to conclusions, as it's shown here, you're not willing to go after fucking 2 hours of a circular point. So if you're not willing to go to fucking conclusions, and you don't think we need a judge for conclusions, and your fucking daddy judge is not willing to force, then if we continue to go down that circular path with the same reasoning and same justifications for the same propositions, we are actually never going to progress. Because I will always disagree with P equals P, because you're giving the same reasoning. You will always disagree with F equals F because I'm giving the same reasoning. We're not willing to have a form of authority because you're not willing to go to conclusions, as shown here. It's just blatant. You're not willing to go. So therefore, there is no better understanding and there is no progression. It is a circular loop. That's why it's called circular reasoning, Halting.
So Swifty, you're just completely removing the aspect where yes,
Oh my
when we
god,
do
bro.
repeat something, it can reach to the conclusion where you and me go, "Oh my God, Swifty! Now that you repeated this,
Well, that's
I
not
now
happening right now,
understand
Halting.
it,
That's
and I
not
now
happening right now,
know how
Halting.
to properly address it." That is
Well, that's not
why
happening,
circular
Halting.
reasoning
That's
can
not
lead
happening,
to an
Halting.
ultimate conclusion.
That's not happening, Halting. It's not happening because if you give me the same reasoning for this proposition and I give you the same reasoning for this proposition and we just disagree with each other from the start, we're not going to come to a conclusion. And if we're going under, we're just going to give a realistic analogy. What we're doing right now, me and you clearly fucking disagree with each other and we're not getting anywhere. So this is actually just never going to suffice to be the case. This is just not happening. It's not happening. It's just blatant. It's not fucking happening. We're not reaching a mutual consensus. So can you please get your daddy, teacher, dick riding, dick munching judge who is not willing to fucking force a conclusion? I don't know why. I
Stop
don't know
saying
his
that.
morals.
Thank you.
No, bro, you dead ass. You're his teacher, are you not? Don't even.
Yes, and I don't
Okay,
like him.
exactly.
Why does
Okay,
that mean I'm
that is
declaring?
sad. No, that's sad. That's sad. No, that's sad. But you're making it worse for him. Stop.
Like if you did the same thing,
Stop.
then I would do the
Hey,
same
no,
thing.
okay, no, can I talk to you
But no,
real
of course.
quick, bro? So if me and you do that, if me and him, real shit, on some real shit, if me and him continue to go down this path of him, obviously, I think it's pretty obvious if you don't like him and you have no unbiased opinion, I think you know it's obvious since I've won 3 points and he's won 0 and he's just getting bitched and bullied around, right? He's obviously ratting and not willing to go to conclusions. So if we continue down this circular path, do you think a consensus is going to be formed, knowing how much me and Halting are
Most
disagreeing?
likely not.
Okay, so if you agree with that, then why were you not willing to force a conclusion? Tell me.
He
Just give me your
might
reasoning.
slip in something. You might slip in something.
No. Well, okay. So under this basis, right? We have you said you're giving notes. So you have notes. So if this doesn't align with your notes, and we obviously have a recording we can appeal to, right? If this doesn't align with your notes or your recollection, right? If it doesn't align with both, then we can just assume this is something new, right? Or any of the audience, if this doesn't align with any of that, we can assume that's something new. But this is also plausible. Like even if me and Halting mutually agreed to go to conclusions, we could still slip in something new. So this basically what you're saying is just making no sense because if you force conclusions, we can slip in something new. But if we don't force conclusions and we just agree, we can still slip in something new. And if he's not willing
Well,
to
if you
go, wait,
slip in
hold
something new
on.
in the conclusion, I wouldn't agree with that.
Obviously, oh, punk writer, obviously. But you're saying the reason you're not willing to force conclusions is because of the possibility that we're going to slip in something new, and you're waiting for us to mutually agree. Now, the thing is, even if we mutually come to a consensus to go to conclusions, which he's not willing to do, we could still slip in something new. So then you would just never agree to go to conclusions. That makes no sense.
Well, you
So
could
if
have at the end for me.
it doesn't, your reasoning for not wanting to go to conclusions is the possibility that that either of us can slip something in. But the same would apply even if we mutually agree to go to conclusions. We could still slip something into an argument. So therefore, under that basis of logic,
Well,
we would never go to
yeah.
conclusions. So basically, Halting, Punk Rider, the best thing we can do right now, if me and Halting dislike each other, if Halting is being a complete ignorant faggot and not wanting to go to conclusions, and you know he's ratting, right? Don't you think the best possible thing we can do, even if the possibility exists when we come to a mutual conclusion, is to just force conclusions and get this over with? Would we not agree
Well,
with that? Would that not be the
um,
best solution to this?
I'm not
If
sure
not,
about
give me
what he's
propose
trying
me
to pull.
no
Maybe he's doing a
propose a different.
tactic, and I don't want to hinder that. Like if I
It's
did
not
a
a. It can't
tactic
be a
that the
tactic.
judge
It's
didn't.
not a tactic.
Okay,
Okay, so how would this
halting.
be
It's
a
not a
tactic,
tactic.
right? So how would this be a
Sure, I
tactic,
want
right?
to hear him.
No, hold
Hold
on.
on.
Let me finish. I'm halting. I'm having.
Okay, so
I'm
take
not
the
talking to
log.
you. Halting. I'm not talking to you. Halting. I'm not talking to you.
Well, I am
The
Right?
halting.
judge
Is it
was, and
tactic?
I was trying to respond to the judge.
No, because he was telling me he's like, what if that's what if that's a tactic? And I'm gonna explain to him why that's not a tactic. Because he actually asked me a question.
So
So
you know my entire thinking, Swifty.
that's not what I'm asserting. I'm just gonna explain to you as to why this is not a
Well, yes,
tactic,
you
right?
are, Swifty.
And even if
Punk
this,
Rider
and
specifically
even if
asking
this
if I'm
is,
performing a tactic, and
even if
and
this
you're
is
just
a
saying, no,
tactic,
I'm not.
wait, hold on. Even if this is a tactic, I'm just gonna explain to Punk Rider as to why he would still need to force conclusions, right? Because even if this still is a
Okay,
tactic, Punk
go
Rider,
on, sure.
yeah, sure. Even if this is a tactic, right, of him not wanting to go to conclusions and of him having a judge whose morals go against forcing conclusions, we are never going to reach a conclusion, and we would technically be here all night. That's not a tactic, because then the debate would never progress. The debate would never end because there would be no conclusion. There would be no authorial judgment. We would go until someone fell asleep. That's retarded. That's not a debate. That's not how debates work, right? That's
I
not a
think the debate is
tactic.
already happening though,
Yeah, the debate's already
and like you're
happening.
clearly
Correct.
winning.
Yeah, correct. So the reason he's doing this is to stall the debate out, correct? Is that not withholding dialectics if we're going in a
Yeah, I
circular
think he's
motion?
trying to stem in a debate. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so exactly. So if that's just blatantly by definition halting the dialectic, and if he's not willing to conclude, and if you're not willing to force conclusions, there will be this point will never end. So if this point will never end, halting, I'm just gonna say if this point will never end, then I would just win because I've won 3 points, you've won none. If this point would genuinely never end for you, halting,
Yes.
I would just win. So this is what I'm gonna explain right now to both of you because you both seem to not, and I don't know how. I think Punk Rider's pretty competent, so I don't know why he's being like this. But it blatantly, if this goes on, halting, I will just win. If you are not willing to go to conclusions or he's not willing to force, I would just win because I won 3 points. You've scaled your character to 0. It wouldn't matter. I would just win. So please, for your sake, right? It's 12 at night. It's probably 3 in the morning for you. I understand you have no life. You don't have anything, and you're 25 on Discord. But like, for the love of God, other people have shit to do in the morning, and no one's gonna want to debate you if I send this recording to anybody. Nobody. Like, do you understand why nobody wants to debate Shin? Because he's a rat. He's like, I have nothing against Shin. Shin's my friend, but he spurgs, he interrupts, and he disagrees to moderation. You are just disagreeing to end the debate because you're losing, right? So let me explain to you. Even if you disagree to go to conclusions here, you're gonna lose. The best thing for you to do, logically, would to be to end this point and to then scale your character somewhere to have a fucking chance. So, Punk Rider, let me explain again. Even if this is a tactic, it would be halting the dialectics, which I've explained as to why is a concession because the debate would not move, right? And if no one's willing to
Yeah, but it was
fucking
like refuting it. He was
yeah, but there
attempting
was
to
no there.
refute it.
That's not. There's no way to refute because even if the debate, if basically just blatantly, if the debate does not progress, then there's going to be no authorial conclusion. Therefore, the conclude like this point would never conclude. Therefore, this point would just be a stalemate, and I would win. I've explained that. So if I would just win if this goes on. So I'm refusing to see why you're not willing to just force conclusions because if he's not willing to ever go, all this is doing is stalling and we're gonna be here for a lot longer than we have to be. Punk Rider, I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you have something to do in the morning? Do you have anything to do?
Sorry.
Do you have anything to do in the morning?
If I did, I would not be doing this.
Okay, so do you realistically want to stay up all night? Do you want to do that?
Not
Listening to
really.
it.
It's like 10
Okay.
a.m. for Pucker right now.
Not really.
Okay, well it's 12 and probably like 3. So if you want to stay up and like, would you rather listen to a fucking Spurg who's not willing to conclude on this boring ass shit, or would you rather get this fucking out of the way, go do something productive, and just fucking end this? He's clearly
Okay.
losing.
And this is where
Isn't
I'm
that?
gonna pull the halting. He's convincing me, so go ahead.
Huh?
Okay, so
Oh no,
oh my god. Okay,
that's wild. So okay, hold on.
so
Before you
directly,
I
go,
really hate helping debaters, and by super technicality, I am helping this, or I am helping you, Swifty. If I like move this forward,
no, you're
really
not.
doesn't want
This is
that.
just never gonna end. It's not helping me because okay,
Swifty,
wait,
wait.
no, I've explained this
I can
because it's not
directly
helping
hold.
me.
Hold
It's
on,
not helping me.
I can just directly explain the conclusion we're like gonna
Oh my
reach, right? And
god,
you're trying to prevent Swifty.
that's
I actually think you
presupposing a
understand the
conclusion. Are
conclusion
you're so
I'm
retarded?
going for, and you're trying to prevent it. So
Okay. You can. I'm going for a conclusion. You're going for a conclusion. If you presuppose we only reach your conclusion, that's a presupposition. This has no base. Just stop. This is fucking retarded.
Swifty. So what I'm trying to say is, or what I'm trying to reach is,
I don't care what you're trying to do. You're
instead of
fat
your
and you can't
argument,
walk.
your,
You
your
can't walk to
entire
fucking
like
Taco
debunk
Bell.
to what I'm doing is you're saying it's circular reasoning, right? I have refuted why it's not or why circular
No, you
reasoning
haven't.
isn't necessarily bad in this case, and
No,
your
you have
only
not.
refutation was that there is no case where you and me will reach like further knowledge, and there have
That
been
is the
multiple
most
cases
probabilistic
where I've
scenario
been
because we're not
trying
gonna
to
reach a
reach for
conclusion.
further clarification, Swifty.
Okay,
Literally,
so have
I
I.
asked you,
What's your point?
what
What's
was
your
your
fucking ground for
argument on
this?
what Swift on what yeah, I literally asked you, Swifty, why or what is circular reasoning, and you literally gave me the explanation of, well, if I gave you that, then it would just be circular reasoning, right? Like, even if we go under the concept where, like, yes, one of us is trying to pursue like a further understanding here and to proceed the debate, you would be the one upholding it. You're the one who's like not giving your arguments. You're the one who's trying to prevent
Are you
arguments from
done?
being
Are you done? Are you
arguments
done?
in
Are you
here.
done? Okay, so
Second, Swifty, I
now let
just
me
let you
explain.
talk,
Let me no no no
bro.
let me
Let,
explain.
let me
I
finish.
wasn't talking. I
Stop
wasn't
treating
giving
me
an
like
argument. I was talking to
over
the
time.
judge. I was clarifying.
Second of
Shut
all,
the fuck
Swift.
up.
Yeah, yes, and I'm explaining why, like, everything
This
you
is two
just said
different
is
things.
wrong, Swifty, because you just gave like a whole ass
That's
Bible to the
your
judge
personal
and the
opinion,
entire
bro.
audience. So, second of all, Swifty, the whole claim of like shotgunning, right? Which I already responded to, and obviously, if I like let us go to conclusions, you're gonna obviously try to convince the audience that yes, it was shotgunning, and that is fine. Obviously, I don't want that to be the case, so I'm actually trying to reach like ultimate
Wait, so
clarity on
you
that.
just
And
admitted that if we went
why
to conclusions, I would win because your rhetoric is terrible. Wait, this makes no sense. If me and
I
you
think
went to
that's a fine
conclusions,
reasoning, Swifty. I
wait,
literally am like, yes, I think I'm winning,
Holy.
but I think you're just convincing, so I don't want that to happen.
so then
Like
okay,
that
so
is
then
us trying to reach.
Just play how
bro,
you're
no,
winning.
stop, bro, stop. Okay,
And the
okay,
direct reason I am winning, Swifty, is because I
halting,
did give a
no,
refutation. I directly said, Swifty, shotgunning,
bro,
if it is
no,
wrong,
stop,
and the way you described it to be
stop,
wrong is
stop,
presenting arguments your
bro,
opponent cannot respond to. I said not only
halting,
Swifty, I can repeat
halting,
every single argument I made. I can even repeat them right now. And
halting.
second of all, I have
Bro.
proper time to respond.
Oh my god, bro. Okay. Can I
And
talk
then
now?
we can
You're
and
yapping.
then so I'm gonna let you respond to this, Swifty. And then there's three other things at the beginning you said that also need to be responded to. But respond to these two
What,
first.
the beginning, so 2 hours ago. We're going back to 2 hours ago. That's already been concluded. What,
Um,
what,
when we first started the point of
Halting. Are you fine with hoodie judging? Yes.
bro, no.
I
Punk
was
Rider, I'm not fine with that because Hoodie does not know what's going on. And you've already given me 3
Okay.
points. It's too late for this. That's way too late for that.
Sure. Because if
So
you
I'm,
guys can find another judge who's fine with forcing, then
no, Punk
sure.
Rider, if your fucking principles are gonna make you stay here all night, you're fucking staying here too. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, I will. Don't worry.
So we're just gonna fucking be here all fucking day because you're fucking. By the way, it's way too late for that because if that happens now, fucking, I've already won 3 points. This just would never this would never conclude. So now, Halte, now let me explain something to you, right? Number one, if you dead ass think, okay, well I'm winning, but this guy's rhetoric is 90 times better than mine, so I'm gonna fucking lose. Then, and you're
that's
not
not
willing
at
to go to
all.
and whatever, if that's half of what you're trying to say, then if you're not willing to fucking conclude, and even though you in your head think you're winning, you're never gonna actually be able to win because you're not gonna be able to persuade the judge who is the verdict. So if the judge who is the verdict, right, and you're not able to persuade why you're winning, right, then we're never gonna conclude. Let me give you the court of law for example, right? This is where formal debates are even held, right? If the fucking prosecution thinks that that the defendant is fucking guilty, but the defendant thinks that they're innocent, right? This is obviously just the case, right? Then if the prosecution can't prove or isn't persuasive enough to prove that the defendant is guilty, right? If they think they're winning in their head, they're giving good argumentation, but they can't persuade the jury, then they're not gonna win at the end of the day. Halting. If you want, I will give you the chance. If you think that the only reason you're losing to me is rhetoric, I will give you time to improve your rhetoric and rerun it with you with a different judge. Because the issue right now is you're not willing to go to conclusions. Right? Now let me explain a few other things, right? So if you're not willing to ever go to
Trix was
conclusions,
here the whole time.
what is, I, what do you want me to do? You want me to get
I'm gonna
wait, hold on. Okay, hold on, Trix. Would you force wait, hold on, Trix. Unmute your mic. Trix, talk to me real quick. I want to see. He also has halting in his name, so oh, you said he was joking, so no, we're not gonna get anywhere with that.
Okay.
But wait, hold on, Dofi, were you here for this whole point?
Bro, I'm not having Dofi judge, and he was not here
Uh,
the entire time.
I'm just asking you. You don't know that. I'm just asking.
I literally do. I've been watching the VC.
I'm not hoodie. I'm definitely not. I've won 3 points, and I just want to get out of here. I have to get up at like what 8.
We can postpone then. That's fine.
No, I don't. I don't care. I'm getting this over with. I've won 3 points. It's not postponed. If we just never get off this point, you lost. So like, let me continue to explain something. Right. So if you're just scared of the fucking rhetoric and you're never gonna go to, I've won 3 points halting. If this point doesn't fucking conclude, and even if I were to inherently lose this point, you still would have lost the debate. Even Halting, Punk Rider already agreed to that. So this is why I'm telling you this is pointless, right? So if you want to continue to fucking argue and never go to conclusions, we're never actually gonna we're never actually gonna reach a verdict on this point, right? So what I'm trying to explain to you, I'm trying to be civil and like not a fucking just a retard like you, right? But I know your strategy is to just never go to conclusions and then finally wait till I get tired or fucking annoyed of this shit and then just agree to postpone.
No, Swifty, at any time we can postpone this. That's fine.
Hoodie, I could leave the VC, but then I'm just gonna hear concession, so there's no point. But yeah, I've won all 3 points, but this is just
Yeah, I mean, I bet you did, but like,
yeah. He
Please
scaled his
concede the
character.
debate, please.
Wait, why would I concede the debate if I won all 3 points and he scaled
no,
his character
I'm
nowhere?
saying that's what you sound like.
Halting, concede, please.
Well, no, that's I'm Hoodie. I'm trying to explain, right, that if he doesn't
Bro,
if he
please
doesn't
don't.
go to if he doesn't go to conclusions, then this is never gonna fucking end. There's no way. Because if I just leave, all I'm gonna hear in my ear is concession. So there's inherently no way to progress this other than just to stay in here and wait for this motherfucker to
Do
go.
you want to? Do you want to hear Halting
Hold on.
say you conceded, or you want to get a good night's sleep?
Well,
Is
nah.
my-
I would
Wait,
rather
well,
just.
I mean, if Halting
Halting-
says that, I'll just bully him.
I was gonna say
I said,
Halting saying that
obviously,
is just
Swifty,
like,
we can postpone if you do get tired. And
No,
secondly,
I'm
Swifty,
just gonna.
this
I'm gonna.
Halting's gonna get bullied, and
$9
nobody's gonna believe him
point
because when he says
of
people concede
circular
all the time, nobody ever. fucking-
No, Halting. You've scaled your character to nowhere. You've lost all 3 points. I
Which
Alright,
is
understand.
man,
why
you
I'm
can
saying
simply
if
just leave.
we
You can
can
leave the VC at this
postpone.
point, my dog.
No, it's
You
not
could just dip.
It's not postponing. I'm not postponing a fucking Halting debate, bro. Like I should have never agreed to Punk Rider as a judge in the first place because any other judge, like anyone else, I could have got anybody else in the community would have just
You know,
been
I
like,
asked to be a judge a while ago.
I
and
Do
you're
you,
just
do you
like,
see
no,
how unreasonable
I didn't.
you're being?
I wasn't. No, I'm not talking
that's
to you.
definitely
I'm
not
not.
that
No,
unreasonable.
no,
But
deadass Hoodie. I was deadass not reading the chat. I was like fucking
I was
texting
saying that in
somebody.
VC.
Well, you were muted half the time, and Halting's
Nah,
very
that
loud.
was before I was muted.
Oh, well, I didn't hear you, my bad. But I'm just gonna say right now, right, that I did not know that bro's teacher had something against forcing conclusions, right? So,
Well, if you knew Punk Rider was his teacher, why'd you take the debate in the first
because
place?
the first debate that me and Halting ever had, Halting wasn't like this, and he blatantly got slammed. And then this motherfucker Punk Rider posted a YouTube video of saying the title was that ass fucking Halting getting bullied, and I think Halting took that personally, and then decided that, oh well, I'm still a lot worse, but I'm just gonna rat and not conclude. So the issue that I'm having right now is the fact that this motherfucker Punk Rider Deadass has morals over Discord.com and they're having issues. But
Bro.
and Halting also Deadass has I'm calling Halting the new Infinity, bro. Like I thought Infinity was fucking weird, bro. I Deadass thought Infinity was weird for having no life
Bro,
outside of Discord. Halting, you're
literally the
worse.
one
Halting, you're worse. Halting, you're worse.
Yeah,
Halting, wait, hold on, Halting. Tell me how old you are. No, I'm just gonna
would
I'm
not
just gonna sit
actually
here
reach
and
the
insult
true
you.
conclusion, in my view.
We're never gonna reach a
So,
conclusion, so I'm just gonna
yeah.
sit here and insult you. How old are you again, Halting?
Bro, what?
How old are you? How
So
old are
that
you?
You're
How old
not
are you?
a debate.
We're
You're just gonna
debating.
continue
This is debating in my opinion. How old are you?
I mean,
This is part of my
on
argument.
your ass.
Swifty, I don't
How
think
old are
this
you,
is a
Halting?
valid argument.
I don't care
Yeah.
if I don't care about your subjective opinion. How old are you?
It wouldn't be subjective, Swifty. I would just be evaluating
I don't
it.
give
So
a
are you
fuck
gonna
about your I don't give a
respond to
fuck
the
about your
circular
evaluation.
reasoning
How old are you,
argument?
little bitch?
Not gonna respond to
Yeah,
that.
so I'm just gonna assume because I've heard from people that you're about a 25-year-old fat ass. Anyone who plays Destiny's fucking fat. You dead ass didn't
Wow.
smell you through the
Some people
fucking
in chat
Discord
catching
screen.
strays.
So, anyways, all I'm gonna say is, bro, your own teacher doesn't like you. That's fucking sad. You have zero friends outside of this app. For your teacher to
Swifty, are
come
you
up
gonna
to
keep
me,
hacking, or are you gonna actually
no, for
respond to
your
the
teacher
argument?
to come up,
Or
I've
what
already
is
responded
one
to
of
it.
the
I don't
two
need to
arguments?
Bro,
respond
And
Swifty,
anymore.
I'm telling you right now that if for some reason, like for like ungodly reasons, if Halting does get a technical win and he tries flexing that, I'm gonna bully him. Like,
Well,
don't
he's not
worry.
gonna get. I'm not letting him get a technical win because he's lost all 3 points. Scaled his character 0D.
Damn, I'm not gonna lie, you're just as bad as him at this point, bro. You could have just led the VC.
I'm not losing to someone named Halting Sphinx who's terrible.
But
Bro,
like
then
everybody in the
Swifty,
VC
just
recognized, like
respond to
it
the
wouldn't
two
be losing.
arguments. I do
Well,
want this to progress. I'm actively trying to get
well
this
then
to progress.
conclude. Well, okay, no.
No,
Okay,
I don't think us concluding will lead to a
Why?
proper
Why?
furthering of the debate. Yes, because as
Why?
I've stated, so
As I
one, my
stated.
argument would
Fucking
hinge
thing.
on this. Two, I
Halting,
just directly think I have refuted what you've said, but it's
Okay, so
super
then conclude.
unclear. is why I'm trying to reach like
Okay,
full
so Halting. No,
clarity.
no, 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 no. I'm gonna do something then. I'll do something for you. If you think that your rhetoric is that bad, then I'm just gonna let you give all your arguments, and I'll dead ass deafen. I'm not even gonna fucking respond. And then when you're done giving your fucking clarity fucking argument to the fucking audience, we can conclude. I'll let you clarify as much as you want. I ain't gonna respond. That'll actually help you because you could just clarify everything you've said, why I've lost, why fuck, blah 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 blah, and then we can go to conclusions because then you have reached your clarity, correct? Because if I'm dead ass allowing you to appeal to the audience for like a whole however long you need, and then
Yeah,
after
he's
this,
just gonna make you deafen for hours.
I dead ass don't care. I'll just do something else. But I'll mute just so I can know when he's done. But I'll mute for however long you fucking need, and then once you think you've reached your fucking clarity, right? Or unless I hear you stray from your argument and just like talk about something else, then I will unmute and we can go to conclusions. So once you reach your clarity, we can go to conclusions. Is that cool? Because if you think that your argument is that unclear after an hour and a half of debating, I'm sorry, that's pretty sad. But I'll mute and let you fucking do your thing, and then you should be able to get your argument off, right? That sound about fair? Or would you rather me try and just sit here and continue to just refute and then us just fucking scream at each other? I think it'd be much easier to be
Bully.
more clear and clarity and get clarity to the fucking audience and the judge or whatever you're trying to appeal to if you're just able to just sit there and talk to them.
I said yes, Swiftyy.
Oh, you said yeah. I didn't hear you. You're very quiet. Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'll mute, let you get your clarity, and then after that, or I'm only gonna do this though under the prerequisite that you're willing to go to conclusions after you're done.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
so approximately how long do you think it's gonna take for you to get clarity by yourself? I'm not responding to anything.
bro. 10 minutes.
Oh, perfect. Okay, yeah, I'll mute for 10 minutes.
Okay, so we just directly know, Swiftyy. My entire argument was purely contingent upon you saying that your character can be above anything, right? I then brought up the law of identity, being something it's not above, to like try to gauge where the limits are. We went into the topic of whether or not your character has like its existence would be a part of the identity or its origin, you called it. Like if it's erased from the book, it wouldn't be there. I just directly said, which is why we led into this. That sorry, hold on, I need to take a drink. Yeah,
Yeah,
we just
clock.
directly.
Fucking saw.
Okay, calm down, hoodie. But we just directly said that right after that. Hold on. Yeah. So, hold on. So after we went over the law of identity being above it, we then went on to the point on whether or not us being above the fiction would mean other things are above the fiction. I directly brought up mass being one of the key factors, which is why I said bigger, right? And if you don't refute this, then that would give us some grasp on what on what the tax wouldn't work on. And the entire point is just contingent upon that. I've specifically been just debating you on that, right? Because obviously my argument wouldn't be circular. That would hold back to the point. Because if my argument isn't circular, then I am making a coherent argument. My argument's fine. If I'm also being,
It's funny that in itself is circular.
if I'm also giving like an argument that isn't refuted, Swiftyy, then my point would also still stand. And I've literally just been refuting everything you've said. Okay, I think I'm clear. I hope I'm clear. You can unmute, Swiftyy.
Okay, so I'm just gonna ask you a basic question now. Should I take that as
Yeah.
your conclusion, or do you still want to continue going on to your conclusion?
I still want you to give a conclusion.
Okay, so I'm gonna mute
I
again,
want
and
to.
you can conclude. So go ahead and conclude.
Oh, okay, sure. So as I said in the little ramble I gave previously, it's literally been seen in this entire debate that Swiftyy has been trying to dismiss that his character would not be limited by the law of identity in this very awkward and misspoken way. He specifically has even clarified this under the sense that his character can erase origins, and he believes that origins would be a part of the law of identity. I specifically gave the chair analogy. I said that a chair that is perfect and imperfect in all ways, Plato's chair, would just specifically still be around even if one aspect of the chair is erased, because this chair would still include all possibilities. Right after that, me and Swiftyy went under the point of whether or not Gwenpool reading a comic would put her above that specific issue. I said, yes, it would obviously put her above that issue. And then I gave the germ analogy for AIDS, specifically stating that, yes, AIDS would affect us. So it would, in fact, be above Gwenpool because, like I said, this contains mass. Mass is the distinguishing factor between us and lower objects, as I said, which was why I brought up the first and second dimension. Right after that, me and Swiftyy just went under whether or not this is all circular and whether or not me showing on how all these arguments are connected is a concession or shotgunning. I said, no, it's not, because obviously I'm allowing him proper time to respond to all of these. I even said I would repeat all of the arguments that have transpired for him so he can properly remember them and respond to them, even though they are past arguments. And then finally Swiftyy and me have just been going on or Swiftyy's been going on this ramble and has been making literally no valid arguments that would like previously respond to anything else, and we've just been stuck on the point on whether or not this is circular. Here goes Swiftyy.
Okay. Can you mute while I give conclusion? So it's fair. I like. Okay, you did. Okay, so I'm gonna chime like I think I remember like all of this, even though we've been doing this for an hour. So I think we need to go back to like the roots of where this started because there was a lot of tangents to this, right? So we need to establish, right? He's already agreed to my character being high outer, above all mathematics, above all dimensionality, having origin manipulation, and then there was one more point it had to do with something else. But then basically, right, we were arguing that my character had limitation transcendence, and then basically he said that my character, right, had a limitation which was a law of identity. I said no, right, because my character has origin manipulation, and then he basically went on to say that he doesn't think origin and identity and origin are correspondent in the same thing. And then he basically made that whole chair analogy that he explained to you. I basically said, well, yes, it is because basically, right, if you're able to erase the origin of the very character itself, right, from within the verse timeline and reality that they are in, then they would have never existed within that timeline or any possible universes as well, right? Because there would be no way to reincarnate, there would be no way to transfer the soul, they would just never exist. That's when we went to this whole IRL fiction shit. He basically went to say that us in real life would still have a recollection of them in fiction, right? And then I basically said, oh, well, this actually just does not apply, right? I don't think IRL and fiction can correspond with the two because, firstly, right, the character's origin, reality, they never affected our world, right? So I don't think us knowing of the character who we view, obviously, as fiction, we view as like a lower dimension or fake, right? We don't view fiction as like a reality, right? So obviously we're gonna be able to be like all knowing when it comes to fiction, like when it comes to the verse, whereas the characters within and coincide within the verse not. So that's basically when I was telling him, right, this just doesn't coincide. And then we went on to the whole point about this was a dumb point by him. He said that if us in real life and a character in a fiction share the same properties, then that property would basically be above fiction. He went on to the example of saying that okay, well, if I have AIDS and the character has AIDS, and AIDS will be above fiction. And then I basically went on to the Gwenpool analogy saying that's not true because if I have a book where I can read comics and Gwenpool has the same thing, that doesn't mean that that book's above the fiction because it's shown that Gwenpool is above that book within the fiction. And as we have already explained, right, I've derived the distinction between IRL and fiction and how IRL books cannot affect that fiction. And then he went on to this whole, oh, I can make a character named Tom, whatever, and erase it. And I basically said, okay, but there was nothing in the real life affecting this actual character named Tom other than you just erasing its existence as the author, right? This doesn't actually ever affect the fucking character, but it's whatever, right? That point kind of got dropped. And then the whole fallacies thing, right? He literally agreed. I don't know if Punkeye remembers this, if he has good enough memory, but 90 times he agreed to shotgunning, he agreed to going circular, he agreed to giving a loaded question, he agreed to all of that. The only things he said were, I don't, why is any of that wrong? I explained to him as to why the loaded question was wrong, and he never actually responded to it. I can give you the exact reasoning I gave him. I said it's a loaded question because if you're giving me only a yes or no answer, right? The reason that a loaded question would inherently benefit you is if it's only a yes or no answer, right? Then I can't justify or add further reasoning onto this argument, which would give you the jump and the ability to like further expand upon your argument, which could potentially lead to a shotgun and just overall help you expand your argument and give you the benefit. That's what a loaded question was, right? That was never contended. The reason I told him that circular reasoning was never in it was wrong is because the debate would never progress. His only contention in this was, oh, I think eventually we would come to a mutual consensus. I said, well, basically taking from my knowledge right now, right? This is just not happening. Like clearly me and you are not coming to a mutual consensus. For example, if you use because he used prop logic to justify this, I said if you use P over P and I'm disagreeing and I say F over P or something different, right? And I give C over B as my reasoning for F over P and he gives A over A as his reasoning, and we continue to just justify each other's reasoning with that each other's claim with that one reasoning, and then go in a circle, right? And he had already stated he doesn't want to go to conclusions, and Punk Rider's morals make him go against forcing conclusions. We're gonna have no form of authority to ever justify this, and if we keep justifying this with the same reasoning, we're never actually going to be able to come to a logical consensus as to who won this point. Obviously, me and Halting also don't like each other, so this will just further lower the probability of this actually happening. So there was that, and then yeah, so I don't, yeah, everything was attacked. The word in concession, I basically told him it was withholding dialectics because right. He proceeded to mute me after giving 2 points and shotgunning me. Then he proceeded to mute me, right? And then after muting me for like 15 minutes, he comes back expecting me to remember all this. And he's like, oh, well, if you don't remember, I'll just repeat it all to you. Like he's not going to shotgun me again. So I was like, well, that'd just be shotgunning again. You still would not let me respond to you, which is just a concession. And then we proceeded to just basically get into that whole thing that we experienced. So, right, that's why I think I won this point. I think also Halting is like mistaking the whole debate for this one point, right? So yeah, there's also that. So yeah, I think I just won this point. Punk Rider conclusions.
All right, let me clown a little bit. Halting. So, if you win this point, do you think that's like at all a feat?
1 point is crazy.
If I directly win this point, I just directly think it gives me a win con later on, which is why I thought it was so important, bro.
Okay, well, Punk Rider, who won the point?
Okay. So, Halting? Oh, okay. A little clarity, for memory. Halting. Why do you think you won the Gwenpool point?
Oh yeah, so he just specifically said that like he brought up Gwenpool like reading a comic, and then I just brought up that like yes, that would obviously be fine. Like we can read comics, she can read comics. It just means she's above that that fictional representation. He never said that like fictional representations can't exist, and that would be wrong.
Okay,
He just
the
said
point was
that's
that the fictional representation that also exists IRL is above the fiction, so no.
no. I
That wouldn't work.
specifically
By the way,
That
clarified.
was the
just
point.
gonna say,
Hold on, Swifty. Wasn't the point that okay, if I have AIDS and it's like power nulling me,
yeah, that
then
was
if
the
there is
point.
AIDS
That
in
was the
fiction, that
point.
it's above
That was the
fiction?
point. Yep, that was the
No,
point.
no, no, no.
That was the point. That was the point.
That is
Because
not at all
I
what
had
we were
already
disagreeing
prior
on.
to that
We
drew
were
the
completely
distinction between fiction
disagreeing
and
on
real
the
life.
fact that the aids that are attacking me are above the aids that are in the fiction.
What?
That's what
No. What the fuck?
we're
That
saying.
made that wasn't even relevant to the
Okay, so
point.
the
That never
book and the
happened.
fiction is not above the fiction. You're retarded.
She's above the book in the fiction is what
Okay,
I was
Punk
saying.
Rider, can you
She's
please
above
give
the
immediate
story
judgment
within
on
the
this? I
fiction.
mean, I have a headache.
Halting, you're
Please.
rambling, you're babbling, you're waffling. Like,
No,
no,
no.
they get.
So I'm
I don't see how
literally
that gives
saying
you the point.
Okay, who won?
I'm literally saying so she is reading
Okay.
so he brought up she's reading a comic book, right? I am saying she's above the story that's inside of that comic book.
Halting, you are so fucking ass.
Okay. Punk Rider, give a verdict, please. I have a headache. This is
Okay.
just win con after this.
Okay, I'm gonna put it very fairly. Okay, Halting. That was not a sufficient explanation for why you won. I think even if you won this 1 point, Swifty would still win the other like 15 billion sub points on this one bigger point. So you're retarded. You lost this. Move on.
Okay,
Hold
well,
on.
yeah. So therefore, my character, right,
So
just doesn't apply by the logic. My
I'm gonna
character, anything that my
so
character perceived as a limitation, he
yeah,
just
Swifty, I
overcomes. It's
directly
just a
said give
battle.
me a sec. I'm gonna talk with Punkrider because I think his judgment is slightly wrong. So Punkrider,
Oh, he's your
why
teacher, bro. Oh my god.
do you not think me explaining that there's
Oh
a
my
mass
god.
difference inherently gives the
No. Oh
distinction?
my god. Oh my god.
What mass difference?
Yeah, I directly explained on why there's a difference between me and a fictional character, and on how
Bro.
I'm.
I remember you
character.
bringing that up in the conclusion. I don't think I remember you bringing
Yeah,
that up
I
in the
never,
debate.
that was
I
never brought up
literally
in the
brought it up
debate.
in the AIDS point. I directly said
No,
the AIDS
Hold on, in
in
the
me
AIDS
is
point. Hold on. Okay. No. I have notes. Okay. AIDS.
those were not in
Let me
the
see.
eighth point. The math
If you
was
have
not there.
AIDS, then that's above all of fiction. It negatively affects you, so it transcends fiction. If it exists in fiction, then it's a fictional representation. You never said mass, you're retarded. But just in case, let me search up
literally
mass.
said
Let me
it
search up mass.
bigger.
Okay, hold on. Mass. Yeah, the first time I noted you fucking saying mass was in your pseudo conclusion. So, yep.
Okay, GG's.
My pseudo conclude. Wait, hold on.
GG's.
Do you not?
Okay, so you said a conclusion right now, and you said a conclusion before, which Swifty said, okay, let's give you a real conclusion now, and then you start.
Yeah, like
giving your
what
real
he means by
conclusion.
your pseudo conclusion was like your whatever you needed to clarify because you didn't think you had the rhetoric to do it. So
Hold on.
Which is a crazy statement, bro. Mid debate, you're like, bro, Swift, you have such good rhetoric, bro. What am I gonna do? And by the way, you also DM'd that to it. You were like, oh, I'm getting mind hacks by Swift. Like, what the heck, bro? Please
wild.
just move on.
Hold on.
It's embarrassing.
So whatever you want to call the pseudo conclusion, which is just me reaching clarity with the audience, is literally me clarifying on all of my points. Would that not be valid?
Oh my god, bro.
Even if we do take it the case
Okay,
that
that's
you
what you
mentioned.
mean. Hold on. Okay, that's what you mean. So you think that should go through? So if you bring up something new in that ramble, that means
I
that
don't
means that
that
you
would
think
okay,
it
so
should
yeah,
move
that
on.
doesn't that never like happened. He brought it up new in the ramble, so if that never happened, there was no chance to refute it.
I'm specifically saying, sure, even if it only occurred in the ramble, and then it's furthermore also in my conclusion, since that ramble was just me clarifying on my intent this entire time, would that not be valid?
Okay, even if
Oh,
you
that's
brought
why you're
up
dodging.
even if you brought up this fucking mass thing, right? I don't think it holds any relevance to the not 13 other sub points that were basically relevant to the limitation transcendence, which was the main point in the law of identity. So
Oh yeah, wait,
Well,
hold on. You said
that's
oh, fuck.
that's
Okay, sorry,
fine.
I lost it. One sec. Sorry.
But yeah,
Give me
I
a
mean
second.
that's fine, bro.
Mass is the distinction between us and them. So you saying that just magically gives you the win, halting. Mass is the distinction. Okay. I'm not convinced. Like, if you can
Oh my
convince me,
god,
maybe.
bro. No, okay,
yeah, yeah. Well,
I've already drawn this. I'll just explain this. I've already drawn the distinction between why reality cannot affect fiction. I've drawn that distinction and why it was not even formally relevant to my point. The 13 other
but Swifty, I
subpoints
already
as to why my
contradicted
character would
me,
be above the law,
fictional
right?
character.
Above be no, hold on. I was saying that it was not relevant to my point in that the fictional reality or in real life, right? That was kind of what we were debating at that time. Was that why reality and the law of identity and all that, right? And then we basically went on to that. I basically won all those points. There was no refutation. Yeah, I think even Punk Rider said that. I won the 13 sub points. This wasn't even really a main point. This point was kind of, I'd say it was like a lower tier point. The
Okay,
fucking Gwenpool thing,
what
but
would happen, halting, if you won this sub point? What is that gonna do?
it doesn't do
So
anything.
AIDS is above fiction, right?
AIDS above
So,
fiction.
hold,
My
look, so
character
I
has
literally
AIDS. I
gave the
manipulated.
just
Wait,
like
hold
this,
on. So if that's the
right?
case, I
We would
manipulated my
follow.
character to have AIDS. I win. My character's origin now has AIDS.
Literally, wait, how the help you, halting?
So,
Wait, so
so
now
just
my
the
character
direct.
Because
has
the
AIDS.
hacks
I'm
goes
above
through. The
fiction.
hacks goes through.
Wait, my character now
Hold
is above fiction. Yeah, okay.
So,
W.
first
My
of
character just
all I've
manipulated that. So your
literally
character
the most
doesn't have
important
AIDS.
parts are one, I did show a distinction to why reality does affect fiction. I literally gave the example with fucking Todd, right? And I even
Nah, halting, bro.
explained
You
why
wanna
this
know
is
what?
the case.
I think fiction. I think that would
Swifty,
go vice versa. Then I think that would go vice versa, and I think my character would manipulate it so you never existed. So fuck you.
that wouldn't hold. You don't remember.
Y'all think what's gonna happen if he if he brings this up next point, huh?
No,
If he
bro,
brings
he's dead lost. Even if he won this sub point, I won the fucking limitation transcendence, but I don't care. I deadass could give two shits less. So I've already got verdict on the limitation transcendence point. That's literally all I fucking care about. If we're just including
Hold
sub
on.
points, I think the points are 15 to if you even get this, which you shouldn't, 1. So yeah, let's just go through with this.
Yeah, I personally don't think he should get it, but
let's
I can't really
even on
explain why because I don't remember it
he
perfectly.
even if he were to get that like little sub point, it was really not relevant to the whole limitation transcendence point, which was all I was really caring for. So
Alright.
yeah. So halting, let's just continue the debate, right? So now that we've
Hold
established
on.
that
No,
I won that point. Oh
this
my
is in fact
god.
my argument, and I do think I won this. Hold on. So
Bro, you didn't even win that point, and even if you let's
I
go under the
literally do
notion
think
that
I
you
did.
did,
I'm trying
let's
to
go under
convince
the
the
notion that
judge.
you did. I still won the limitation transcendence point. This point isn't relevant.
It directly would be, and I can even
The,
explain
the whole
Swifty.
the whole part of this point is that AIDS is above fiction. My character has AIDS.
No, the entire point of this is it's that
You can't even
anything within
explain it.
reality is above fiction, which is why I put like us above Todd, and why
Wait,
and I
did I ever
demonstrate that.
That's about fiction, retard.
did I ever disagree with reality being above fiction? I already drew the distinction between the two.
Yes,
What?
and then we agreed that things within reality can affect fiction, which is such
No.
things
That
as
that was
me
what we were
deleting Todd.
arguing on. The only thing I said that could affect fiction was if the author
Oh yeah.
of
Hold on. I need a little conclusion on that. Like, yeah, I remember that. So if everyone like just destroys like a comic book, Swifty said that it's impossible. Like he did say the term logically impossible because then
Oh yeah,
then people
that was the
IRL would have
stupidest
to
thing.
have
Yeah,
our
I
knowledge
forgot
on it.
about that. Yeah. So basically he's like, oh yeah, so what if Bill Gates has the facilities to go destroy every copy of Gwenpool? And I told him that was just logically impossible, and he never responded to that. And he
Yeah, I think he
basically said,
also
I
mentioned like he
directly
would
did
have to destroy like the past and people's memories.
yeah, that never, I did say that, and he never refuted that either, which is just, I told him that's basically
I
logically
did give a reason
impossible.
to Swifty.
So
I
Bill Gates
direct
can destroy the past and people's memories? Oh my god, Bill Gates is him.
Yes, Swifty. I directly said that here. I'm gonna demonstrate me doing that, and I deleted the
Wait,
character Todd.
bro, I'm talking about Bill Gates
All right,
erasing
let me check
Yes,
this
people
real
in
quick.
me
real
Let's see
life.
it written
justifying
down.
I can do it
Are you
is a
stupid?
justification for Bill
Wait,
Gates
so
being
hold on. I
able
want
to.
you to go back 10 years in the past in real life, and then just I want you to go back to before 9/11 and stop it from happening, real quick. Okay, I don't think you're understanding what I was telling you. You said that Bill Gates has the facilities to go and destroy everyone in real life Gwenpool comics. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Yes, wait, Swifty. I'm literally telling you, he can destroy the comics. I can destroy a fictional
He can
character.
go back in the
That is
past and destroy them.
sufficient.
No, he can't. Tell me how he can go back in the past and destroy all the
He
past
doesn't
Gwenpool
need to
comics,
go
all the
back in the past,
future.
Swifty.
Swifty, bro. You literally refuted the Todd point. Doesn't matter. You were like
Any,
Todd never even
Wait,
existed, retard.
how did?
anyways, anyways,
Wait. Hold on. How did he refute the Todd point?
oh my god, bro, this is gonna
Okay,
turn this your Shin
so
445 on fucking like Adderall. Fuck.
so he said something like Todd never came to be. That's all that matters. LOI. We can express him, but we view fiction as a lower form of reality. In our reality, Todd has never
Exactly. I
existed.
said that
Todd has
90
never touched
times.
foot in our timeline.
Paul never
He's
had
in
an
a fake
origin in our
timeline.
reality.
By the way, he said he's in a fake timeline, Halting. You know what fake is? Not real
What?
retard.
Hold on.
Fuck
I've already
God.
specified why Todd would be fiction, so we literally would
Oh
agree.
my
Like
god,
not
bro.
realistic.
Yes, and then he said in his fiction it affects him.
That's literally it.
In
And
in his
then
His
Swifty
fiction.
was also like, if we share anything similar with fiction, then it's the same. Like rhetorical question. He was like, that's contradictory. If I have something that applies to me, which can also apply to another character, like it wouldn't be the same. Wouldn't
I'm
be on
just
the
gonna
same
also
level.
say this: you have no authority over reverse equalizer or equalized verse. I did say something about verse equalization. I don't know if you got that, but yeah, that did happen. So I don't know what you were talking about. Regardless, that point got refuted. So Halton, can you please stop whining and let's just move on? You've lost.
bro,
I'm
Swifty, shut
justified
up.
as to why you've lost.
Hold
You've
up.
lost. It's
So
over. It's over, bro. Stop.
so why is his
Oh my
point of just
god.
saying all fiction refute me saying that we can destroy fiction, and then me using Todd as an example?
I refuted, bro. Are you
Bro.
just special? I need to know. I need to know. Do you like? I understand, Halting, that you're like above the age of
Bro,
20,
Swifty,
but like, come on,
I
bro.
literally gave you like a whole last 30 minutes to talk about
I
it,
did
right,
as
bro?
muted myself and gave you two conclusions.
Yes, bro. Hold on. So
So what
Punk
are you
Rider, why
talking
is this the
about?
case?
What's
Why
what?
does him saying Todd's not real demonstrate that we can't destroy fiction?
Bro, it's not that. I was just reading. It's the whole thing. And also, hold on, you're saying I'm pretty sure when Swiftyy says we can't affect like fictional characters